Is it happening? All right. Well, this is a silly looking setup. Hello everyone and welcome back. It's your host Michelle, aka Chat-Mort, and thank you so much for turning once again to my humble little channel. So, um, here I am. Here we are. The second time I've streamed in like what 6 hours. But I just thought, since I'm back from the which side of the screen is it on? The Thing, the movie. Oh, why is he here? Just because I love him. Oh, that thing. I just thought that while my thoughts are fresh in my head, I would discuss this movie. Normally, I don't really retain much about a movie the first time I see it. I'm usually overwhelmed by all the sounds and whoa, I hit myself in the eyeball, and the music and the pretty colors and being in a room full of strangers and eating a lot of popcorn. So I excuse me. I it's not going to be a very comprehensive like review per se. I just kind of wanted to give my thoughts and my reaction having just gotten back from seeing it. Not having just gotten back, because as you can see, I made you guys a lovely little banner so people would know. Don't, if you want to see this movie yet, there are going to be spoilers in my review because I don't know how else to discuss this. I don't know what substance I could give a sort of reaction discussion video if I don't give some spoilery-esque information. I have some complaints, I have some general thoughts, and I have a lot of things that I did appreciate. And it's just really hard to. It's going to be too hard to avoid spoilers if I want to do anything of substance rather that's not scripted. Hi, old school law. Geez, Chad, it's my B-day and I haven't gotten to your first one. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. This is going to be unfortunate too because a lot of my normal people, not everybody, but a lot of people who are my subscribers are kind of interested in this manga, at least just to get me to shut up about it. They've started reading it or watching it, so it's going to be hard to kind of get anybody to watch this when I try to warn people abundantly that there are going to be spoilers in it, and I don't want to ruin it for anybody. So, it's just you for now. Yeah, I might tweet out that I'm doing this. I'm pretty sleepy and my thoughts are a bit scattered. It takes a specific mindset for me to be able to really do a decent job of streaming, truly. But, I just thought that it could go either way. Like, ruminating on this overnight and until tomorrow afternoon could be a good thing, or it could be a very bad thing. I truly can't tell you how much I'm going to retain until tomorrow without letting you know ahead of time. Aw, hi Jimbly, hi Ryder. The fuck you doing up? I'm always up this late, dude. Here. What do you guys think? Should I share this? I'll share this on Twitter. It's too late now to stop me. It's already happened, so yes, good. Yeah. I'm out of my mind. I'm so sorry. Thank you guys so much for showing up. Thank you, Old School Law. I appreciate it. Thank you, Ryder. Thank you, Jimbly. Thank you, Dumb Binge Hours. I appreciate it. Yeah, how was the movie? Did you have fun? Are you doing good? I think so. I should be wearing a necklace. I'm very bare here. But yeah, oh yeah, and Ben Shower said you haven't been up to date, but you're still gonna watch the live stream. I might have read that like 6 times. I'm not sure. I'm really tired and kind of disoriented, so I apologize. Oh dear, that's just not so good. Whatever. My hair is fine. I'm gonna stop. If you guys think this banner is annoying, let me know, but I have so many. That's a little bit better. I have so many friends who are really invested in this series that I just want to leave it up for now. Also because it took me like 15 freaking minutes in Microsoft Paint to make this hideous banner. I just found a picture of Dobby because I'm obsessed with him. So I you'll find out that it was not, putting him in here was not the most accurate thing I could have done. Hi Sartzer, I don't know if I said hi yet. And hi Nobody else is here that's new. Okay. um, oh God, I'm dying. Bro, what are you still doing up? What's the matter with you guys? I'm usually up this late. Sometimes I stream till 5 in the morning. It's not because I get up that early. It's because I have a non-existent sleep schedule because I'm a child with no discipline. Did you find the dark green? I did. It's kind of wearing off now, but I found a really good dark green and I covered the bright red up with some orange and it looked really good. It's kind of faded some now. I was real sweaty and stuff, obviously. But, yes, yeah, it came out really cool. My makeup came out really cool. I didn't take many selfies. I didn't take as many pictures of it as I intended to before the movie. But I can show you, like, I can do some screen grabs from the end of my stream earlier and it came out really cool. Like, it still looks pretty good, but it looked great earlier when it was fresh. Yes, I'm having a beer because I'm a grown-up and you can't stop me. Bruh, oh yeah, Crazy Diamond said that. Hello, Crazy Diamond. Hi again, Ben. Hi, Black Romeo. You're here, but you're lurking. That's totally fine. Don't ever feel obligated to interact. So many of my friends' streams, I just lurk. Because if I watch streams, on my phone, I can't tag anybody, and it's so hard for me to type fast on my phone. Whereas if I'm watching something on my computer, I can respond really quickly. So, it's just one of those things, like, I've mostly given up even commenting on people's streams on my phone unless it's a good friend who I know is not going to be bothered by typos. And typos are so embarrassing because people generally don't really do typos in the live chats of stuff. Excuse me. I don't know why. Yeah. Jimly said some of you guys have clearly never been to a late night Michelle stream and it shows. Well, some of them have too. They don't realize that I'm quite a night owl here. Hi, Ezub. Welcome, my friend. Why not whiskey? Because I don't have whiskey. I bought whiskey one time and it was like crappy Walmart whiskey and it was disgusting. This was the last beer I had of this kind. And it's a porter. I don't like porters. I know I'm a weenie. For liking lighter beers. I don't like really skunky light beers, but porters, this kind at least, it just tastes like roast beef. Like, that's nasty. I don't want to drink roast beef, but it's the last one because I put it off because I didn't want it. I don't like it. It's not so good. Yeah. Yeah, I have a hard time responding on live streams. I do too, and I hate it because, like, the live streams I watch are all people who are really kind, and everybody's subscribers are like a little community. So everybody greets you when they see you, and I can't tag people back, because, like, on iPhones, when you @ people within a live chat, it doesn't autocomplete. So if you get somebody's name wrong, if you put a typo in, you don't know it because you can't, like, autocomplete their name and pick it. And so it's just really frustrating and embarrassing. I'm really weird about typos. You guys know that. So I don't know. I'm weird about it. Yeah, I know. What a twist. Walmart whiskey is not good. But anyway, this is going to be brief. I'm going to try and make it brief. It's going to be all over the place. I do have to work in the morning. I already streamed today. I don't need to be doing this excessively here. But I wanted to give a little bit of a review about this. And anybody who ends up watching this later after the movie or whatever, please don't feel bad about not watching this. I'm really funny about spoilers. And I accidentally saw a bunch of spoilers about this movie because I follow a bunch of, like, Anna Twitter kind of leftist people. So, yeah, I don't, I'm trying not to do that to anybody else. And stuff. It's good for sleep. Whiskey will put you down faster than when they put down that gorilla. Oh my God, that's a little dark. Can I say too soon, or is everybody done feeling bad for Harambe? Is that the gorilla of whom you speak? Made the mistake of buying prototype beers at brewery once. That was a mistake. Ooh, I don't know. I'm weird about beer. I'm not very adventurous in regard to beer. Like, I'll get weird drinks at a restaurant. Like, I'll try any mule a restaurant has, but beer itself, I'm weird about. Edgar's in here somewhere. I think he's napping. I shut him in here. He's become my stream buddy because when I have him in the house, he wants to be away from the other cats really bad. So he like flies in here when I open the door. She's blushing or drunk. I might be a little bit of both, Dan. No, I am. I'm not drunk, but I've had a little bit of beer. I get red here first all the time, like the anime Band-Aid fashion statement area. But I also been wearing my glasses so much because this is my last pair of contacts. I've been rationing. I need to order some new ones, but it's so much money. I've been, procrastinating. And so even when I take my glasses off, I have the glasses spot on my nose. Yeah. But you are very observant, Dan. That is correct. Because when everyone else has the power, no one has the power. Hi, Adam. Yeah, Jimbly said, killing joke streams are such a huge community thing. It's heartwarming, lol. I didn't expect him to be such a community-oriented, kind of loving guy. Dude, Joke, like, not to be super gay or weird about it, but Joke is genuinely one of the kindest, like, warmest people I've ever met in my life. I am so blessed. I know that sounds, like, super stupid or whatever, but I'm unbelievably blessed to have met the people I have by being on side quest. My cast members are truly some of the most amazing people, and I love them so much. Hi, FF King. I don't know if that's how to say your name. I'm waving behind my crusty ass boyfriend. I have two of my crusty ass boyfriend in this room. Wow, look, you're here. And you're also there. I've got, geez, man, I've got problems. I don't know. I saw a tweet earlier, like, what would your 18-year-old self think of your whatever-year-old self? I don't know if she would be proud of me for being such a pathetic, like, weeb still and being obsessed with fictional characters, or if she would be like, wow, I hate to admit it, but I kind of secretly hoped you would, like, be like a well-adjusted adult, like a six-figure earning businesswoman or something, and not like still us, I don't know. I really don't. Thank you, King. I appreciate that. Oh, yeah, Jimbly said, the more I get to know you side quest people, the more I get why you all have such good chemistry. And it wasn't that way at first. I liked all of them at first from what I knew about them, but it took a while to really get in our stride and understand each other's, like, rhythms as far as banter and senses of humor and stuff like that. It took a while. It really did. And we really are finally hitting our stride, and we're trying to make this season a lot more high quality. So stop streaming spoilers. I'm so sorry, Nemo. I was like, you're the main person I was thinking of when I made this ridiculous banner in paint. I just want everybody to know there are going to be spoilers in this. And I don't know how not to stream the spoilers. I saw you looked at my Instagram story where there's, like, spoilery things. Like, what the hell, dude? I don't want to spoil things for anybody. I don't want to ruin important stuff for people. I don't know. I'm projecting how important this stupid franchise is to me onto others. Still, you could be a waitress by now. That's true. I'm doing something that I'm a little more proud of than being a waitress, I suppose. I say I suppose and I think of Beatrice from ReZero. I forgot about her. I gotta finish ReZero. It's been a while. I know season 2 is coming out soon. True friendship is when they help you bury the body. Exactly. Indeed it is. So I do want to talk about this movie a little bit before I forget more of it, because I usually have to see something at least twice to really digest it and form any real coherent observations on it. So I'm gonna try with just having seen it tonight and not just having seen it. It's been a couple hours now, but I have to say I really, really did like it. I do think it was better than the first movie. What was the first movie called? Just like Two Heroes or something? Right? Maybe? I don't remember what the first one was called, but I do think this one was more solid. I think the storytelling was tighter. I enjoyed the overall vibe of it, I guess, more than the first movie, as much as I really did have a blast with the first movie. But it was, my experience was kind of like dampered somewhat, I suppose, by, I said it again, by the fact that we drove forever to find a theater that was showing it. I wanted to see it dubbed. I know, that makes me a second-class citizen. I should be in gulag or whatever. But I wanted to see it dubbed, and it was just hard to find anywhere that had it, unfortunately, like right around where we are. I mean, there were a bunch of theaters, but they were all like equidistant from us. So, uh, it's pretty bad weather where we're at actually, tonight. So, it took us like an hour to do what should have been like a 30-minute drive. It was terrible. It was scary weather driving a place I'd never been before, and it like got me off of the one highway, like, and they like concreted off where you're supposed to go. Like you merge from this highway onto this like 8-lane road, and you're supposed to get in one of the middle 2 lanes right at this stoplight. This is not relevant to the movie whatsoever, but like I guess people got in accidents too much and died there, and Google Maps was not updated because we were using Google Maps to make sure we got there as quickly as possible. So it just like freaking, we got off the highway and it like swung us into this weird, like really nice upper class neighborhood. So we're like weaving through this almost pitch black, no streetlights, upper class neighborhood up these like twisting, wacky little hills. And it was so aggravating because it's like the theater's right here. We are like here, but the freaking highway, when we merged off of it, like slingshotted us over into this neighborhood, and we had to go like 2 miles this way, 2 miles this way, 2 miles this way, and then a mile this way to get to the freaking. It was so irritating. So like that stressed me out because I don't like driving where I don't know. I don't like it. I don't enjoy driving places I'm unfamiliar with, even though it's a good challenge. It's a good exercise for me specifically because it gives me anxiety. And the weather was really bad, so that was stressful. And obviously people were being dicks because that's how it is when you're driving ever, especially on the highway, especially when you're the one who doesn't know where you're going, and everybody else does, and they don't understand why this stupid person is only driving 10 over the speed limit instead of like 50, whatever. Yeah, so we got there like 10 minutes before the movie was supposed to start, and that was stressful. And there was almost nobody in the theater. And I know a lot of people would think that was a good thing, but part of what I enjoyed about the first movie, I think it was just called Two Heroes, wasn't it? God, I just want to hold my Dobby figurine's hand. No, like seriously, I'm out of my mind, dude. I'm so ashamed. Like it is the perfect size. Like you see, he's got really nice big hands. I think about that a lot. But it's like the perfect size for my gross, like meaty little, like poorly circulation did finger to hold. What do you think he would do in real life? Like, I always think about that. The fictional characters I love, like, if I met them in real life, oh, he would incinerate me. He might lead me on for like a day and a half till he could steal my wallet and all of my valuables, and then he would just cremate me, Like, none of them would humor me at all. And they're not that great people. They don't have the right to have very good standards. I'm just nuts. This is not relevant. But part of what I enjoyed about the first movie was that we went on opening night and the theater was packed. And I know that sounds like a bad thing, but when it's like a communal type thing, when it's like a sort of cultural, like subculture phenomenon, like seeing an anime movie, it was so much fun. You feel camaraderie with these people. Like Kirishima did something cute in the first movie, and I turned to my fiance and I was like, he's such a good boy. And like the whole row of women behind me giggled because they love Kirishima too. Like just little things like that are so sweet, and they're so much fun. I really enjoyed it. And like I said earlier, I was the only like blonde person there. I think I actually curled my hair for that. And some people were like natural blondes. Like obviously I'm a natural blonde, but I'm darker blonde than I get my hair colored. But most everybody had natural kind of like brunettish hair colors and glasses. It was just cute. And I also said this in my prior stream, I do not mean it so cute, like as dumb as it is, I do really appreciate diversity. I know there's far more important things than just like diversity of skin color. Like diversity of experience is far more valuable. But I still think there is some merit to diversity. Like the last town we lived in, we were kind of in a city, and I know it doesn't matter that much, but there were a bunch of people of different ethnicities and backgrounds there, and it puts in perspective how unique you are and how much of the world and how many experiences and cultures there are that you don't understand, and that there are to discover and respect. And it makes me feel more bright-eyed, and it gives me more like wonder and gratitude and awe toward the world and all the amazing people in it. And I know it sounds like this leftist talking point to be like diversity good inherently, but I do feel that way to an extent. And I was like in a very tiny, like German conservative, all white town growing up. There was one black girl at our high school, and her nickname was Black Megan. Like her name on Twitter after high school was Black Megan because she was, you know what I mean? It's like so limited. And I don't know. I enjoy not being around a bunch of people who look like me. That's real self-loathing when instead of being more attracted to people who look like you, the way most people like tend to like marry within their race and stuff, you're like a full-on xenophile. Like the less somebody looks like you, the more you respect them and see them as a human being. Like that's real. That's like top tier galaxy brain self-loathing. How's that for a tangent? Um, the stream just skipped. How much? You didn't miss anything important, obviously, but like, it's fun when the movie theater is packed. I agree. Dumb bench hours. Hi, Carl. Um, yeah, like for this, I enjoyed it, and I know some people had really shitty experiences at their theaters, and there was somebody, there was somebody stinky. There was like a smelly weeb in our theater last time. Um, but it's like the camaraderie, the energy of a bunch of people who all love the same thing was so much fun. The whole theater was packed. And there were some people who had like little kids, and there were some people with like 12-year-olds. But it was mostly people in their 20s and 30s who just love the series. And it was so much fun, like I didn't get anybody's numbers or their like Tumblr accounts or anything to befriend. Everybody was with their groups when they came in. I would love to go like by myself to a movie like that and be forced to kind of, interact with the people around me. But it was still so much fun. This, we didn't go opening night because who goes to a movie on a Wednesday? We went tonight just because I've got side quest tomorrow night. We have D&D Saturday and I have side quest Sunday. So we had to go tonight. But there was nobody at the theater. The weather was terrible. It was like we reserved like the front two middle seats that were as far back as you could be without craning your neck. And then like every two middle seats behind us were all taken, and there were a couple people dotted down front. So there was hardly anybody in the theater. You weren't forced to like interact with anybody or like kind of share laughs or emotional moments with anybody. It was much more low energy. And I know it's really childish, but like the people right behind us reeked of smoke. And I'm deathly allergic to it, but I don't mind the smell of cigarette smoke. I kind of like it sometimes. But this wasn't like somebody who goes outside and smokes on their balcony a couple times a day. This was like people who haven't washed their clothes in like a month, and they smoke in their bedroom like right next to where the clothes are folded. Like this like pungent, bitter, dense, bitter, did I mention bitter smell of smoke? And it was so gross. I was like guzzling our giant Sprite the whole movie just to have something else more immediate, like overwhelming that on my taste buds. And I don't mean to sound judgmental. I don't know how not to sound judgmental about that, but that really bothered me. It kind of compromised my immersion to have somebody reek of smoke. Like they literally smoke 3 packs of cigarettes a day right in the room where their laundry is folded. That bothers me. I don't like it. You know, that bothered me. That bothered me. Did I mention it bothered me? Also, my phone. Oh, look who's on my phone wallpaper. I'm not crazy. I'm retarded, and I don't know how to turn my iPhone 11 off. So I tried. I thought for like 15 minutes and was just embarrassed. And then I kept making sure the volume was down. And I was so paranoid that I was wrong because I'm just obsessively paranoid. And I was scared that it was going to go off during the movie, even though I checked like 16 times beforehand to make sure the volume was down. I'm insane, so. Yee. That little mannequins could hold your nipple better than your finger. Don't say that. Why would you make me think that? What's gonna happen to, like, my future marriage if my fiance walks in the room and that's happening? What? Why would you put that thought in my head? Tempt nodded completely out of her mind, a woman. Oh my god. It's okay, baby. Don't fall. Oh my god. He's okay. I'm in fact exceedingly sane. Right? Don't say that, dude, for heaven's sake. What, somebody asked something. Oh, writer said, what would your quirk be? I've thought and thought and thought about this, and I had one like a year and a half ago, and I don't remember it. Like that time was like just a fog of really, really terrible depression and misery and wanting more margarita mix from my refrigerator, so I genuinely do not remember. I'll let you guys know, obviously, you know, because cringe TM is my brand. I will let you guys know when I figure out what I think my quirk would be. Yeah, Black Romeo said natural diversity is fine. Forced can go. Exactly. Forced diversity is shit. Natural diversity, I think, is wonderful. You know, I would like much rather have my children grow up in a diverse place than somewhere where everybody has the exact same background and religious mindset and political beliefs. That doesn't expand your horizons. That doesn't help you be respectful. It doesn't give you perspective on how much of the world there is to learn about and understand, or whatever. We said that already. An audience of fans is always energetic, said Mr. Adam. Exactly. Baby mannequin's hands. Orange G.I. Joe bad. Yeah. Okay, yeah, Black Romeo said my nickname in school was Black, hence the name. Yeah. I think, alright, I'm not gonna say anything about people who hooked up with my exes. I don't need to get into, like, the backgrounds of the poor people who were unlucky enough to be my schoolmates. Never mind. Megan was funny. And then she said something on Facebook about how she thinks it's funny to swerve and hit animals when she's driving on purpose, and I unfriended her. Because you do whatever you want, but, like, I don't like that. Okay, anyway. Oh, your school is mostly Black and Hispanic. I see. Yeah, my nickname in high school was Sack. My name is Zach. Yeah. There was a Zach in our high school whose nickname was Zatch. Do you guys remember Zatch Bell? That was a weird show. I didn't watch much of it. Jeffrey Dahmer was a big believer in diversity. Well, good for him. He sounds like a great fellow. I can't pretend to not know who that is. Yeah. The leftist opinion on diversity is to force it, shove it until the situation is bloated with people who don't have any real interest. Natural diversity is genuine and better. Yes. Dan said, burp again and pull your shirt down a bit further. I shan't do it. Yeah, Romeo said it's okay to judge someone whose smell literally assaults your taste buds. That's true. That's true. Jimbly doesn't know who said nipple. I'm not helping you with that. I'm not gonna do it. Hi, Michael. Hello, friend. I don't know what, are you a 3X's or a 50X's? I do not know what you're asking. I know nothing about anything. I don't know what you're asking. You'll have to specify. Here. Let me go into the actual movie a little bit more. So, I've said a lot of ums, and that's not good. When I hit my stride, I stop the ums because I rewatch my streams to see, because I feel so bad when I miss people's messages or I misinterpret them in really dumb, obvious ways. I always try and go back and correct myself. So I like always rewatch my streams a little bit to try and rectify all the inevitable disasters that arise, you know? If this happened back during Zatch Bell's time, they'd be using it as proof of actual lolicon, despite 70% of the cast being living puppets. Yes, dude, I forgot what that show was even about. That was so weird. Oh my god. Oh, the whole thing with Australia, like they lost a goddamn war to emus, but they're trying to fight a war and win it against all of anime. Good luck, my dudes. You got this, I'm sure. You were talking about your exes and the others. Oh, are you a 3Xs or 50Xs? Oh, I see the question. Yes. I've gone through a lot of beer, haven't I? I have a couple exes, but I've only ever been in a serious relationship with the person I'm with now. Like I had my first kiss like 5 days before my 19th birthday with one person. And then I never had the sex until I was almost 20 with the person I'm with now. So exes, you might not even count them as exes. Like I had one long distance relationship. I met him through YouTube and we emailed each other back and forth for years. And I was friends with him on Facebook until recently, but I don't like his politics so much that I unfriended him, which is really stupid and shallow for, but we never talked at all and he'd become really angry and bitter. I'm just excusing it. I hope he's okay. He's a nice guy. He was really rich and lived in Dubai. Anyway, he was a cool guy. I wish him the best, whatever. I dated a guy in school twice. And then there was a guy in the middle who actually turned out to be racist. He wasn't just making edgy jokes. I found out some things and I was like, okay, we are not going to date anymore. Oh my God, I was so dumb. Sadly enough, he was nice too in some ways. And if he had just been born to a different family or hadn't chosen to invest himself in that ridiculous mindset, he could have, we could have been a great guy, but not for me, whatever. Anyway, I wish him the best too. If you're watching this, please don't murder my family who lives in the town where we grew up. Please don't do that, sir. I don't know. The girl I was like seriously into, who I had my first kiss with, does she count as an ex? I don't know. We didn't really date. We didn't go out much. We talked a bunch. So I don't know. I really don't know. There was a guy I did like Naruto role playing with, and I knew exactly what was going to happen. I was like jokingly flirting with this character role playing account, right? And then he was like, dude, you should make a role play account for like pick one of these characters who I ship with my character. And I'm like, okay, I'll make one, I guess. So I made one, and like we like role played those accounts together, not like graphic sex or anything, but and then I was like, I know exactly where this is going to go. This is fun. This is fine. Whatever. But eventually, this person is going to develop feelings for me as a person, and they're going to want me to just create my own Naruto OC, and then they're just going to want to talk to me and take away the Naruto character that I'm having fun role-playing with, because I had a crush on this Naruto character as a kid and thought they were cool. And that is exactly what happened, and this person developed feelings for me, completely, like, aside from our role-playing, and I ghosted them like an awful, just disgusting, cowardly scumbag of a person for like weeks. And then I came back and I was like, I'm so sorry. I can't believe I did this to you. I shouldn't have, but I knew exactly what was going to happen from the start. Is he an ex? I don't know. But he was like, don't ever do that to somebody again. And then he switched his like RP account to some other fandom, and it was just weird. Are these people my exes? I don't know. I have very few exes, and I've not been in any like serious relationships before this one, so I'm very extremely childish and infantile and immature. Those are all basically overlapping definitions. But as far as exes, I kind of have like 0.75 if you culminate how serious and adult any of those relationships were, really. But I've seen the one ex a couple times, but I think she's doing well. She's married now. I really liked her, but we were just too different. It couldn't work because of our lifestyles. No, those aren't exes, says Izu. Well, then there you go. I have no exes. Spoilers, it was me. None of them were you, Jimbly. I hope not. Part of me is always like, is Jimbly somebody I know? My esophagus made scary noises. I always wonder if some of you guys are people I know. There was one guy who was younger than me in high school who I befriended, and he actually was a really active subscriber of mine on here for a long time. That was funny. And now this guy, he's actually really sweet. Like this guy who bullied me a lot in middle school. Like I posted on social media about how depressed I was like a year or two ago, just being perfectly transparent about it. And he was the first person to reach out to me and be really, really kind and say, like, I get what you're going through. If you ever need to talk to somebody, I'm here. And he, like, opened his, like, he, like, bared his soul to me and was super nice about it. Like, this guy who was so mean to me as a kid was the first person to reach out to me. It was just funny. And sometimes he shows up in my chats on here and I get really flustered because he knows me in real life. Like, he's seen me and I've been this mess basically since I was like 11. So that's really weird and embarrassing. My neck made a scary sound. Definitely don't know you. You're in a different country. Yeah, I've only ever lived in the US, clearly. Ugh, bless you. I'm not very ladylike sometimes. Can a friend with benefits counts as an ex? They can. Because, like, it depends on how entangled you get. Sometimes something might start as friends with benefits and not end that way. Or sometimes just the structure of something like that can end up resembling more of a relationship than some of your relationships even do with the emotional component, like, acknowledged and added in. I don't know. Best rule of thumb, if they didn't touch you, you didn't touch their heart. It's not an ex. That's probably a good rule of thumb, Carl. I agree with that. No, those aren't exes. Spoilers, it was Choji. It was not Choji. I liked him. He was a cool character, but no, it wasn't. I had like 7 different characters I wanted to marry from Naruto, and Choji was not one of them. Yeah, a little bit ago, Carl said I don't count exes as exes unless I've known them biblically. Didn't have any emotional connection to people for a lot of my life. I understand that. Yeah. Lol, what a humble brag. About what? I don't remember. What? Drinking 1 beer? Thatch Bell is a crime against anime. I don't know. I don't remember. There's the burp, adjust the shirt. I've been adjusting my shirt. My shirt's just falling down. My figure has changed drastically in the last couple years, and I'm not used to this whole situation at all. Oh my god, sleepy. How entangled you are. Freaking, man, whatever. You know what I mean. I don't mean it sexually, necessarily. Anyway, so, okay, movie. Did I say anything about the actual movie? No, I don't think so. How did we get off on these tangents? I don't understand. Anyway, oh, you guys see my, like, my cringe, normie anime sweatshirt? See my Bakugo sweatshirt that I got from like a real shady weird store online that like they pop up every like 3 days and then get shut down because they're selling like counterfeit merchandise with trademarked characters on them. Yeah, I did that. I got it. I got this one and I got Deku's and I was gonna get a Dobby. It doesn't matter at all. Never mind. Jimbly said, "Don't worry, Michelle. We definitely met last year. Cause I'm like at least 6 years younger than you. Lol. Oh my god, that's crazy." Yeah, I just realized recently, like one of my best friends who I met through somebody who used to be kind of a big personality on YouTube. She brought a bunch of us together, and I realized this one guy who I was a huge fan of. Like, he was one of my favorite YouTubers. And then we became like best friends through this. And I realized, like, oh my God, he's like 5 years younger than me. Weird. It is, it's just so weird, you know? Like, when you just talk to people online, you forget everybody's ages because you just know people based on their personalities and their current situations and their stances and stuff. I don't know. Does the Deku one have the rabbit ears on the hood? No, it does not. I've not gotten that one out of the package, actually. I'm just keeping it in there. I don't know when I'm going to wear it exactly. Talk more about Dobby. Stream will never end. I know. Okay, so let's talk about that, shall we? That's a good way to start. So, they were total cock teases with the league, okay? So they know everybody's getting into the league now, especially the people who read ahead. Everybody's like super into the league because they're getting way and way more badass. As time goes on, he smells good. I'm sane, I promise. But everybody's into the league. So like they open the movie with shit relating to the league. And there's like 10 minutes of the league in the whole movie. And they're not even the league. They're like twice as clones that melt when like they're closed in on by people chasing them. But that's like the premise because all the bad guys in the movies have to relate to like All for One and, you know, by extension, Shigaraki and everybody. So I'm a nut. I can't wait till some like giant channel that psychoanalyzes cringe channels. It makes a squeaky sound. Finds me. Because they're going to have a field day, dude. I Jesus, I'm out of my mind. Okay, so yeah, like I did not appreciate that at all. Because I was like, okay, I've heard people talk about Shigaraki being in this movie. You know, I've seen a screen cap of Dobby that I've never seen anywhere before, so I know it's from the movie because I follow anime Twitter people. No, I'm not putting my nipple in his hand. No, I won't do it. So that was shitty. I didn't like that. Like, you got like 30 seconds of dialogue from every character, right? You got like, if Toga's your waifu, you got like 3 lines from Toga the whole movie. There's like 1 line from Twice. Twice is my waifu. There's like 1 line from Twice in the whole movie. And everybody's into Dobby because we're all just basic bitches and we all have serious issues. His hand is like perfect to put my finger in. Okay. So Dobby had more lines. Like Dobby probably had, well, like Spinner had a lot of lines. Compress had a lot of lines. Why is Spinner always the getaway driver? I don't understand this. It's like they just replicated scenes from the show. But Dobby definitely had the most lines compared to Shigaraki because everybody wants to bang Dobby or whatever. We're a whole generation of people with daddy issues, and the more somebody looks like they'd murder you on sight, the more titillated we are by them. I don't know why. I don't know how we've gotten to this point, but blame our parents, whatever. So they only show up for a tiny bit, but obviously that's the premise for the movie. They're transporting this spooky looking person in like a pod, like a Mewtwo pod or whatever in the back of this truck. And the heroes track the truck down and they incapacitate it or whatever, and they melt away because the villains are just two of Twice's clones, I guess. And then they talk about like, oh, I wonder what was in the truck we were transporting. And they're like, well, all for one or whoever, all for one's like person was who told them to do it said, don't worry about it. So whatever. And then Toga's like, that just makes me want to know more. So it's like almost like the most minuscule amount of necessity. You know, it was like the barest justification, the tiniest bit of justification to have them in the movie at all. They just threw them in there because everybody's getting into the League the closer we get to the Meta Liberation arc shit, which I thought was sleazy and I didn't appreciate it. But anyway, they showed, oh, this new spooky villain person got free, and that's going to be the villain for this movie, because every movie has a different villain, evidently. So the premise of the movie is fine, and I also think it was pretty skillful, because I'm not pretty sure. The first movie took place in a specific spot between two exact episodes of season 3, I guess, of My Hero Academia. There was even a really weird, ham-fisted, poorly done, like, really shitty, like, montage voiceover episode in season 3 of My Hero Academia that clued you into, like, this is just a 30-minute promo of the movie that's poorly cobbled together. Go see the movie. That takes place between the previous episode and the next one. This one, they didn't do that. Not to my knowledge, at least. I'm pretty sure they learned from how heavy-handed and poorly executed that was last time. Like, they did a very, very good job with being very, very kind of cautious and measured in what details they gave. Like, they made it clear what sort of era this happened in. But they also had to be careful too, because, like, obviously a ton of fans are reading ahead and they've heard stuff about characters and things that are coming up. I think that's part of the reason people are so into the League now. But, you know, at the same time, they want to give you establishing information, and they put it a little bit ahead of where we are in the anime in order to get people more hyped up for the stuff that's coming, to make it feel more important, because it's set a little ahead of where we are if you just watch the anime. Probably repeating myself a quintillion times, I'm so sorry. But I think they did that very well. Like, Hawks was in the movie, and I appreciate that. Like, with Hawks, they weren't teases about it, you know? It wasn't like, oh, there's 3 lines from my boyfriend the whole movie. There's 1 line from Twice the whole freaking movie. There's, like, 2 lines from Toga. So many people, Toga is their, like, number 1 waifu, and you got, like, what, 2 lines of her whining the whole movie. You know, I don't appreciate that. I don't think that was necessary. They could have just had, like, in the first scene where the villain for this movie was established, as in the League, like, broke him out of somewhere or were transporting him somewhere, they could have just had Dobby and Spinner, because those were the people in the truck transporting him. They could have just had the 2 of them. And Shigaraki plays a role later on, so they could have had him later. But they didn't need to do, like, let's do cameos of everybody from the League who we slap on merchandise. That didn't make it feel more like the show. It didn't at all. It felt like sleazy. It felt not good. It felt like how in this season of My Hero Academia, they keep mentioning Hawks, and they show, like, his silhouette, and they show him from the back, and in totally ham-fisted ways they mention him because the fandom is so freaking obsessed with Hawks that they can't stand it. And they know if they, like, put him in really ungratifying ways, it'll still get people more and more excited, and I don't appreciate that. So Hawks was not that way. He played a role that literally anybody could have played in the movie. And I'm sure Horikoshi had Hawks, you know, kind of act as the vehicle for all these plot devices, because everybody's obsessed with Hawks, as they should be. He's gorgeous and charming and just a really, really cool character. I love Hawks, dude. Holy shit, I love him. So Hawks had a lot to do with the movie, and I appreciated that. And there was, like, a Hawks Endeavor interaction, and Endeavor's in the movie a little bit. But again, with Endeavor, like, you know, I guess it's cool he was in the movie, sort of. But Again, it was more like a cameo. I mean, I know that's the term for it. I know there's a purpose for cameos in movies, but like it doesn't it still feels condescending, and it just feels condescending to me. I do not like feeling condescended to as a viewer, and I felt condescended to with the League showing up, and I felt condescended to with some with the Hawks and Endeavor interaction. Like, it's all these tiny little really obvious teases for what's to come, you know, that everybody was hoping would be in this season of the anime, that there's no way they're going to be able to fit in it. But they did a very good job of somebody, like on the commission or whatever, somebody referenced Hawks's role in the story and what goes on with his character coming up. So they established that we're a little bit ahead in the story, kind of, from where we are now, but they also didn't explicitly spoil what happens with Hawks. You know, what you know, his objective is and the things that he goes through. They referenced them in a way that people like me got, but people like my fiance, who's just now catching up on the manga, nowhere near caught up, but he's reading it because I'm like, you need to read it. I have nobody to talk to about it. I'm going out of my mind. Like, it didn't spoil anything for him, which, you know, they handled that well. I really liked how in this movie everybody from Class 1A had really good moments. Everybody had a time to shine. They had a time to use their quirk. They kind of showcased their personalities. And from what I remember, they did that in the first movie, but in the first movie it felt more cobbled together. This movie, it felt much more organic. The way different characters got their own screen time and got to play significant, important roles in the plot overall. They did it much, much better this time around, and it was fun too, because a lot of the more minor characters in Class 1A, who are just more minor characters because they're not in Midoriya's immediate, like, clique of friends, they're really cool, you know, and it was nice to get to see them in a way that didn't feel... Oh, so sorry, I have a hangnail that's driving me out of my mind. Ugh, it's gone now. Somewhere. Whoa. In my mouth, maybe, I don't know. We don't know where it went. Farewell, hangnail. Godspeed, good sir, whatever. Fuck, I don't know. But that was nice, you know. One of the things that really bothered me about, was it this season or the prior season, when they were all doing their internships or their work studies, out of nowhere they did an episode about Tsuyu. You know, Froppy is her hero name, the cute frog girl. They just did an episode that had nothing to do with the overarching plot, that just followed Tsuyu around and showed her work study with this kind of like naval-oriented group of people, because she's an amphibious hero. And it was cute. She got to defeat some villains. She got to learn some, you know, kind of generic fortune cookie type lessons, and it was cute and it was nice, and it was like a pleasant, well wrapped up story. But they did that because everybody likes Sue. They didn't do it to forward the plot at all, and it felt completely out of place. It didn't feel organic. Like this season of MHA, there have been whole episodes that are basically about single characters. And those are actually from the manga. Now, the Tsuyu episode that just followed her on her work study, that was its weird little own standalone episode, they just did that for the anime to make more money off of this more minor character that everybody likes. Where, and I hope this isn't a spoiler for like the overhaul arc, the stuff that's happened this season, there's an episode that's about Kirishima. And it feels organic because it brings forward some of Kirishima's faults and drawbacks in regard to his personality and his character and his self-confidence, it brings them to light when the seeds and references to those things and introductions to those things have been planted in the past up to this point. It doesn't feel like this episode that's completely out of nowhere. It fits with the overarching story at that time for these things to have kind of like come to a head and crescendoed, and for him to go through what he went through due to them. Likewise, there's an episode about Mirio. I couldn't remember his name, Lemillion. There's an episode about Mirio, and there's an episode about Sun Eater, Tamaki. And both of those episodes explain a lot about the characters and their backstories in very, very meaningful, very believable, very compelling ways. And it's because you haven't gotten the opportunity to see the big three, the upperclassmen, before. So you have to get the backstory at some point to explain, to contextualize why you should care about them now. And also because they are facing life-changing battles. You know, they are facing off against people in ways that are going to affect them for the rest of their lives. So it's relevant for you to find out some of their backstory and what compels them to be heroes and what is motivating them to push on, you know, in the face of mortal danger and things that would discourage and break the spirits of lesser men. Those episodes that were standalone episodes about Mirio and Tamaki made sense because they forwarded the plot and were immediately relevant to the overarching story in season 4. That thing with Suyu didn't make any sense. So it was nice to have participation from the rest of Class 1A that was meaningful, impactful, extremely relevant to, pivotal to the advancement of the story, as opposed to these weird cameos or condescending shoehorned in marketing tactic thingies. You know, does that make sense? So I really appreciated that aspect of it. It was fun to see, you know, like, it was just nice to see everybody. And Ida, for once, was not, like, relegated to this obnoxious, almost satirical caricature of himself, which he is a lot in the show, which is so sad because I love Ida. I think he's got a ton of potential as a character, and the whole Ingenium arc thing with Stain was fantastic. I like fell in love with Ida then. I adore Ida. So it was nice to see him outside of that context. It was nice to see Aoyama doing some things that actually contributed to the story instead of him being like the weird stereotypical, like, just gay, eccentric, effeminate character. Mineta obviously was funny, but he was relevant to and instrumental in things moving forward in the way they did. Tokoyami, finally we got to see some pretty significant stuff happen with Tokoyami. I really enjoyed that. It was very satisfying. He's such a cool character, and he really has not had the opportunity yet. And I know that's going to come up in the future. It's going to arise or whatever in the future, but Tokoyami up to this point has been almost wholly overlooked. And I'm not saying necessarily by the fandom. I know a lot of people in the fandom like him, but he just really hasn't, how unique of a character he is and how cool his power is has not been highlighted much in the story. And this movie was really cool because he had quite a bit of emphasis. It was really interesting, and it was fascinating to me. And what compelled him to go beyond, I worked it into a sentence, seriously, was really cool. To see these characters and their bonds and their camaraderie and friendship and who they're willing to do anything to defend is cool, because you don't see that. And it's not that the other members of Class 1A aren't interesting characters, it's simply that they are not immediately relevant to Deku's development. So, you know, just like your own class in school, the people who you're not in kind of a clique with and you don't interact with quite as often, they are in the background. You don't know as much about them. Doesn't mean there's not a lot of fascinating, likable things to know. It simply means they're not as relevant to you. That's all kinds of tangents, I believe. Let me catch up with you guys a little bit. Oh, I apologize. Show us your shotgun. I don't know what's saying. Pull down and hop. I shall do no such thing, Dan S. God, I'm dying. The League is epic, said Sartzer. I'm obsessed with the League. After, like, the Deka City, like, Detnerat stuff. Oh my god, they are so cool. Like, did you guys see on Twitter? Did you guys see? I'm, like, doing that thing I did. I had, like, a summer in middle school where I was, like, obsessed with Gaara. Because, obviously, I was that girl in 5th or 6th grade. I, like, dreamt about Naruto. Get back in there. What are you guys doing out here? I'm so sorry. This shirt is not so good. Like, comment, and subscribe for the shirt that's not so good, I guess. Should I take the crusty boyfriend banner down, or should I leave him here? Does it matter? Should I put myself back in center frame? Let me know what you guys think. Type 69 if you want me back in center frame, everybody, okay? And meanwhile, I will try to keep up with the chat or catch up a little bit. Let me see. I'm sorry. I'm trying to catch up. Yeah, like, I've had so many dreams. It's like back then when I was, like, obsessed. Like, I brainwashed myself into being obsessed with things like Naruto and Sonic and all the horrifyingly embarrassing things you can think of. Like, I had a dream that Dobby was my boyfriend, like, a week ago. I had a dream, like, 2 nights after that Twice was my boyfriend. And then more recently than that, I had a dream I kissed Toga. But it was, like, because I was dating Dobby or something, or, like, seeing him or whatever. You know, I don't know if he would count as an ex. Okay, he definitely would, probably, based on the context of the dream. But we were at, like, one of the League's hideouts. And I was, like, with Dobby, seeing him, whatever. And Toga had a massive crush on me. So she convinced Dobby, she broke him down enough to where he let her kiss me. But also he had to explicitly instruct her not to murder me or, like, gravely wound me or, like, take a chunk out of me in the process. And, like, somebody had, like, a first aid kit on hand. That's not encouraging when somebody's going to kiss you and it's just been facilitated and is being allowed to happen. And then, like, afterward, it's ridiculous. It was just a ridiculous dream. Like, afterward, Twice was like, that was awesome. Are you okay? And he handed me an inhaler, like, as if that was supposed to help me not have a panic attack about the certain death I almost just, you know, like, swapped spit with. It was so weird. It was a weird dream. Like, I had a dream I kissed Toga. Like, before the most recent arc I read, I couldn't have cared less what happened to her. And I'm so attached to all of these freaking characters. Even Jiren. Like, yeah, he's like a greasy old man, and obviously that's my type because I have severe psychological trauma, but, like, I'm so invested in the League now, I'm having dreams about all of them. It's crazy. A long time ago, Jimbly said, I faintly remember you saying you're almost 30 or something. Yeah, by that I just mean I'm closing in on 30. I'm 27 and a couple months. So I'm closer to 30 than I am to 20, that's for sure. Yeah, and somebody already answered that, but is it a 2-hour movie? Probably an hour and 20 minutes. Yeah, it's definitely over an hour. I'm not sure how long it is necessarily. It didn't feel very long. It went by, it flew by, so obviously that was good. It was riveting and it was paced very well, I think. Romeo said Dan needs a cold shower. Slingus Tildor said Dan needs to continue being based. You missed 2 minutes because your internet died, Jimbly. I don't know. I don't know what you missed. I'm so sorry. Dan said, Corona crashing plane or earth disaster, hurricane, earthquake, tornado, whatever. I don't understand. I don't know what's being said. You were condescended to because MHA is for little babies, lol. Yes. Yeah, it absolutely is. Last season. Whatever it was, it happened last season. 69. Everybody. 2 people. Oh my god, you guys are awful people. Somebody typed 69, somebody typed 68, somebody else typed 96. General consensus is center and lower shirt. Oh my god, you people are fools. Alright, I'm gonna hide image 4 here on freaking whatever the hell this program is, OBS, and I'm going to center myself. And then also, I must scoot to the center of my screen as well. There. Here I am. You can see more of my hair now? I don't know what's happening. Whatever. Oh, no, a couple of you typed 69. Whatever. Yeah, you see what I did there. I'm a child, I know. I'm sorry. Froppy. Yeah. She's such a cutie. I love Froppy. I like her a lot. She's very charming. I just didn't like how ham-fisted that episode felt that was all about her. Like, as much as I like her, I was just like, what am I doing here? You know, it didn't feel like Horikoshi's writing because it wasn't. It was just thrown in to make more money. Yes, Sartzer said that Kirishima episode was so cool. Fat Gum was badass too. I love Fat Gum. I love him. I love Fat. I love him. And I love Tamaki. Like, nobody talks about Tamaki. Like, people talk about Mirio, you know, but almost nobody talks about him, and he is an angel baby. I would die for Tamaki. He is a precious baby. He's such a gentle, lovely, charming character. And Tamaki and Mirio's relationship is just remarkable. You know, their friendship, the depth of their friendship and brotherhood and love for each other is conveyed in so few words, you know? Ooh, the smoking rat has Ruffles potato chips. Nice. I want some Ruffles. I haven't eaten Ruffles in a long time. I'm trying not to eat potato chips because they're just so bad for me. I'm trying to eat healthier. It hasn't done much good, but whatever. I'm sorry I keep pulling my shirt up. I'm sorry. I have to. It gets weird, dude. Tyler Knox said MHA is alright. I don't hate it. It just didn't jump out at me. Well, that's fine, too. There have been a lot of, like, mainstream shonen things that didn't really appeal to me too much. What else? You were a Sonic fan. Jimbly, I was freaking obsessed with Sonic. I was, like, the worst kind of Sonic fan you could be. I didn't play it as a kid, not really. Like, I played, like, a computer port of the couple original Sonic games. But, like, I played Shadow the Hedgehog. Because I was like, that game looks cool, I guess. Because my mom was like, what do you want for your 14th birthday? And there was a commercial for that. And I was like, that looks fine. So she got me a GameCube and Shadow the Hedgehog. And I played one of the objectively worst video games of all time. And I was like, oh my god, I love it. I need more. And so then I got Sonic Adventure 2 Battle and Sonic Heroes. And like, I went from all the shitty games, I just stayed with the shitty games. And I was obsessed with them. Obsessed. And I loved the stupid, like, anime style Sonic cartoon, Sonic X. I loved the season that was basically like Star Trek, Sonic X. I was obsessed with it. I was completely in love with Shadow the Hedgehog, unironically. I have a really nice, like, Knuckles figure. Like, he's got articulated, like, elbows and knees, and you can pose him. And I kept him in my purse for years. And this was not, like, as a 14-year-old. This was, like, 3 years ago. I kept Knuckles in my purse, peeking out of my purse everywhere I went because of the stupid fucking "and Knuckles" meme. I am in desperate need of psychological help. That's the only conclusion I can come to from that. Yeah, Romeo said, I'm not surprised you liked Gaara based on what you say about liking the bad boy types. Gaara makes sense. Yeah, I liked Gaara. I loved him. My mom asked me about him the other day because she really liked Gaara. I don't know why. This poor woman had one child and it had to be me. Like, if you have to have one child, at least have him be a little bit cool and relatable to a normal parent. No, she had me. I was the one. I was her one accomplishment. But she watched a lot of that shit with me. My mom loves Samurai Jack. She loves the original Teen Titans. She very much groomed me unintentionally for fandom type fixations. Like, she was obsessed with the original Astro Boy and Johnny Quest. Like, so she's cool. It's not like she's always pretending just to humor me when I have an obsession like that. But it was just funny, like, recently she mentioned Gaara. Like, she asked about the Sandy dude, like, what was his name? Because I was talking to her about anime. It was so cute. She's such a sweetheart. But, I loved Gaara as a bad guy. I thought he was a really, really interesting bad guy. Was it the tuning exam? English, the tuning exams? I really liked Gaara during the tuning exams. I liked him and Konkoro and Tamari when they were like, oh, mystery kids, woo. Oh, he's like crazy and possessed. And he talks to the sand in his gourd like it's his mom. Oh my god, he's nuts. I liked bad guy Gaara. I didn't like he was so boring when he became the Kazekage. Gaara broke my heart because he went from one of the coolest bad guys ever to the most boring good guy. And I think that's one of Kishimoto's main problems. His idea of characters maturing is just becoming incredibly dull and homogenous and stiff and emotionless. That's my interpretation. That's not what growing up means. That's not what becoming an adult means. It doesn't mean becoming this boring, flat stereotype. And Gaara was he was so boring. I felt nothing for him. He was not a compelling character at all as a good guy. And it just broke my heart, He was a great bad guy, but as a good guy, I was so bored. I was rooting for the freaking terrorist, when the time skip stuff started to happen because Gaara was so boring. After being this character I was madly in love with for years, I was just like, I don't care if you die because you're so boring now. I feel nothing for you. Aw, yeah, I relate to Tamaki's anxiety levels. He is such a sweetie. I love Tamaki. But, I was talking to my fiance, and we both agree that, how, if Tamaki's, self-sabotaging thoughts and anxiety and lack of self-esteem are that bad, Mirio has to have carried him almost entirely to get him to the point he's at, as one of the, top 3 from his class. Truly. It's so bad, it almost doesn't make sense that Tamaki has gotten as far as he has and is doing as well as he is. Aside from Mirio almost carrying him, Tyler said, I only know All Might because he kind of looks like Donald Trump. Yeah. Yeah, and that's one thing that I was surprised people weren't offended about this series. All Might is an explicit love letter to America. American greatness, the liberty and the freedom, and us as an economic superpower. All Might is a blatant, gargantuan compliment to the US. And so many kids who like anime are so anti-American that I'm really surprised people don't have a problem with it. Red, white, and blue are his color schemes, He's got eagle feathers for hair. All of his moves are named after U.S. cities, or the one huge move is the United States of Smash. And he's got a move, I don't know if it's, I guess so. I guess all of Deku's moves basically have been based on All Might's moves. There's one that I think is just based on the Navy. Some of All Might's moves were just based on the branches of the U.S. government. Like, that was crazy to me. And as somebody who's patriotic, that's another thing that made me fall in love with All Might. Like, I'm really surprised that something pro-American like that has not set off all of the super leftist, like, European and, like, privileged white college student American fans. I really am. Allie had the original Sega Genesis Sonic game. Well, then you're a better Sonic fan than I am. Yeah, more like 1992, since that was the year Sonic the Hedgehog 2 came out. Yeah. Shadow the Hedgehog is very underrated. I really think it had a lot of heart as a game. I do. The cutscenes were breathtakingly beautiful, and then in the game, it was like uglier than Sonic Heroes. It's so sleazy how they did that. But one thing I think all of the Sonic games, to my knowledge, are actually really strong at is their music. The same guy, Jun Sunoe, I don't know how to say his name, has been the composer for a ton of the Sonic games, kind of in that like late 2000s era. And like the Shadow the Hedgehog soundtrack is good. It's really good. Like the music in those games is very consistently strong. Sometimes I still listen to a couple levels from like the Sonic Heroes, like the soundtrack. And the Shadow the Hedgehog soundtrack, I waited for that for over a decade. And finally they started selling like a weird, just partial version of it on iTunes, and I bought that up so fast. But yeah, I did like Shadow the Hedgehog. I loved it. I have a ton of Sonic plushies. I do. I don't know what Dan was saying. I don't know if he was making fun of my burp, because I saw that when it first came up, or if you misspelled like bukkake or something. Knuckles needs his own beat 'em up game. I was like madly in love with Knuckles. Like I fell in love with Knuckles. I don't remember if it was before or after Shadow, but I had like separate phases for each character I had crushes on, not just Sonic in general. It was nuts, dude. I need like the best team of psychiatrists alive in the world right now, and they could make some pretty fantastic, like, they could write some pretty interesting case studies on me. I could have a couple documentaries made on me. Just the sheer horror man is capable of when enough autism is inflicted upon a child's mind. Excuse me. I'm just gonna burp and be a disgusting slob. None of you can stop me. Oh, you're waiting for the Chow Garden full game. Yeah. Newbie said, I thought you needed psychological help before you admitted the Knuckles thing. Yee, it's true. Yeah. My mom is like one of the best moms in the world. Obviously, she's just a person. You know, everybody does their best, but she's one of the best friends you could have, and she's a truly wonderful, unique person. She loved Teen Titans so much. Do not mention Teen Titans Go in front of my mom, because she will rant for an hour about how terrible it is. Tyler said, I prefer Orochimaru. I was obsessed with Orochimaru. I thought he was so hot. Like, that should tell you something about what's wrong with me mentally. Like, for Dabi and, like, Kisame, and, like, Alistair from Hazbin Hotel to be like a step towards mental stability from the people I used to be into in regard to fictional characters, that should say something about me. Yeah, I agree with you, Sartzer. I liked Gaara as a villain a lot. He was a really compelling villain, but I just don't think Kishimoto knows how to write good guys at all. You know, some sort of like edgy anti-heroes. A lot of people like Sasuke. I hate Sasuke. I despise him. I hated him in Sakura, and that's part of why I didn't care about Naruto anymore. All of my favorite characters died. All of them. And then Naruto, I cared about. I cared about him as a character. But when the two people he loves more than anything are such insufferable, just self-centered, childish pricks, it was hard to watch. It was just hard to watch. You guys are having problems. Ryder's having problems. Jimbly said he might have to go. I'm sorry, Jimbly. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm going to talk for a little while yet, unfortunately. I've got a couple more things to say about the movie, so I don't know. It could be another half hour till I'm done. I'm going to try and get back on track here, but there's going to be some stuff to watch on the like DVR thing tomorrow if you guys get bored, that's for sure. Yeah, your power keeps going out. That sucks, dude. Romeo said, Orochimaru is fun. My favorite villain is Frieza because he was so over-the-top dramatic and his voice was awesome. I love Frieza. God, I love Frieza. What a cool villain. I love Frieza. Isn't All Might a parody of classic comic book heroes? He's definitely an homage to them. Like, you can even tell that because his style is so different from anime characters. But then Lemillion, he looks like, not like superhero comics, but he looks like comic book characters from just silly comics. It's just so crazy because the characters look so different. And then like when you get into the new stuff that I can't stop talking about, like Redestro and Skeptic and some of the newer characters. What is the politician guy's code name? I can think of Curious, but what's the politician's name? I don't know. But like those new characters, they don't look like anime characters at all. Like watching, it's insane. They don't look like anime characters. Like when it switched over to the Meta Liberation shit, I felt like it had switched comics accidentally when I was reading the manga. It like the how varied his style is and how he incorporates all these characters who look like they are not from the same genre or time period, let alone the same manga, into the same series is fascinating. It's absolutely fascinating. Oh, I just realized the one character is like an Ice Climber reference. God, I'm stupid. I just realized that. Detroit Smash. Silver Age, yeah, his Silver Age costume. Stop pulling up your shirt. I won't stop. That's weird. I'm sorry. Oh, Ali said, speaking of the Sonic soundtrack, Michael Jackson contributed to the Sonic the Hedgehog 3 soundtrack that he left halfway through the game's development. That's amazing. You played Sonic Mania? I haven't. I've seen a bunch of playthroughs of it, but no, unfortunately. The game Vigilante 8 had the best soundtrack. Empire Earth 2 probably has the second best. Yo. Way to play right into their hands, Mort. I don't know what you mean. I'm so sorry, Tildor. I'm so far behind. Hi, Purple Man 238. Yo, yo. Don't jump, you garbage chat. Yeah, you liked Bad Boy Gaara. What about Bad Boy Sasuke when he showed up in Shippuden? No. I hated Sasuke the whole way through the series from the get-go, and I don't know why. I mean, I do know why. He was just an angsty, self-centered, nasty character. He was a terrible friend. Everybody loved him even though he was an awful, shitty friend, and he continued to be a shitty, awful, self-centered friend the whole time. He was shitty to Naruto, he was shitty to Sakura, he was shitty to everybody, and everybody treated him like a god. And I get, like, he didn't know a lot of shit. I get that he couldn't know any of the shit about Itachi. I understand that, but it didn't make me like him anymore. I just hated him. I hated Sasuke. Sasuke killed so many of my favorite characters that made it just rubbed the salt in my wounds. I despise Sasuke to this day. I do not like him at all. I don't like him or Sakura. And in a way, wait, that one goes over here. I think they deserve each other because they're just both really nasty, self-centered, shitty childish characters. Oh God, Tyler said I liked Orochimaru the same reason I liked Asui, the tongue. Oh boy. Alistair is awesome. I adore Alistair. That I love Has Been Hotel. I don't really care for Hell of a Boss though. I liked Has Been much more. Naruto is very filler heavy. Yeah, I didn't watch all of Naruto. Like, my fiance likes Naruto less than me, and he's seen it the whole way through multiple times. Because he feels like if he's going to talk shit on something, he needs to at least know what he's talking about. So, like, he's watched it more than I have. Like, I can't watch certain stuff. I don't like Zabuza dying. I don't like Datara dying, or however the hell you say his name. I don't like Orochimaru dying 16 quintillion times. I don't like Neji almost dying. I don't like Kasame dying. Everybody I love dies. I can't take it. Like, I fell too much in love with these fictional characters to watch them die. I just couldn't when I knew it was coming. But yeah, I've never finished Naruto, sadly. I have a love-hate relationship with it. Jimbly said a long time ago, poor dude probably hecked off. Frieza arc was amazing. Frieza, I feel, was the last seriously good moment of DBZ. I liked the Boo Saga, but I know that was mostly nostalgia. I do. Because I didn't start watching it as it was airing for the first time on American television until the Boo Saga. So I can admit to myself that that is nostalgia. I don't know. Yeah, if we're talking Dragon Ball, then both Z Broly and Super Broly. Yeah. I'm only watching One Piece and Dragon Ball, pretty new to anime. I I really like DBZ. I'm okay with Dragon Ball and Super, but I like DBZ because it takes itself so seriously, and I know that makes it the laughing stock of anime for a lot of people, but I love Dragon Ball Z. I liked that it took itself so over the top seriously. I loved that so much. And I didn't feel like anything that. What are you doing? The filler in DBZ is good. Like, it enhances the characters, it gives them more dimension. Like, Piccolo learning to drive is the highlight of my life, and it's not real and it's not my life, you know? Whereas, like, Naruto filler felt incredibly condescending. One Piece is solid. I need to get back into it because a lot of people I've told how I just don't care for it have defended it and told me it got better after certain periods. But I know a lot of people have also admitted that One Piece has really terrible pacing too. So I'm sure I could find like Reddit threads about what parts to skip and what parts to just like read a synopsis. Because I was really, really invested in One Piece early on. I liked the first three like battles Luffy's crew had, like against the Black Cat Pirates or the Black Hat Pirates. I don't even remember their name now. The freaking clown, his crew, Buggy the clown, he was terrifying. And Alvida and her crew. I loved those first three battles. They were super intense. And then it just like died. Like the pacing just died at that point. And I stopped collecting the manga after like 10 volumes. And I tried to watch the anime, but I just couldn't stay focused. I couldn't. It just dragged on. Like, they picked up the blue-haired princess lady, and I thought Usopp's character design was just so stupid. Like, when I don't like character designs, when I think they're ugly, I can't watch something. That's why I could never watch stuff like Big Mouth or even things other people like, I can't watch. And then Chopper, I cannot stand like plucky little high-pitched companion talking animals. I freaking hate them and everything, and I have since I was wee little. Like on PBS Kids, do you guys remember Cyber Chase? I knew I was bad at math, so I thanked God for Cyber Chase every day, and that was like one of my first hyperfixations. Cyber Chase was. And there was a stupid little talking animal companion in that. And I was in elementary school when I watched that, and I hated that thing with every fiber of my being. I cannot stand things like that. So it's like, I just can't. You know, I mean, I should try again because I respect a lot of people's opinions who like One Piece, but it was just hard. I couldn't, you know. I I just dropped off because that was like when Toonami was relegated just to weekends. That was when the Dark Age was really coming upon us. But yeah. Black Romeo said, okay, that's fair. What about Itachi? He had all the bad boy qualities, but was secretly good. I love Itachi. I love him. His and Kisame's relationship is probably my favorite thing about Naruto. And Kisame is my favorite character from Naruto. I love Orochimaru. I love mostly bad guys from Naruto. I really like Neji. I like Shikamaru. I think Shikamaru was one of the few strong characters Kishimoto has ever written. But you know, Kasame is one of my favorite characters, and he and Itachi, their friendship and partnership and dynamic is one of my favorite things about the show. But I adore Itachi. He's close to Shakespearean in regard to the poetic tragedy that is his life and his fate. You know, I don't think it's a stretch at all, actually, to say it's you know, almost Shakespearean in the beauty and the nature of his tragedy. That's something Shakespeare would have put in his works. I love Itachi. Um, it's just Sasuke. I just hate Sasuke. I hate him. Sasuke was the worst character in Naruto. Changed my mind. You will find no disagreement here, Sartzer. Dude, I stopped around the thriller arc and picked it up after the time skip. Your fiance is a brave man. Couldn't watch Naruto through once. The problem with Naruto was it forgot it was called Naruto. Cell Saga is my favorite arc. Teen Gohan was my favorite character. I will always have such a soft spot for Gohan. Even when he was a whiny little kid, I loved Gohan dearly. This is not really a stream about MHA. Like, it is, but it's not. I didn't intend to get off on these tangents this hardcore, even though I always do. But I'm so tired that I'm very vulnerable to... I'm just... I'm very vulnerable to suggestion right now. So I'm going off on all these tangents. I can't help myself. I'll have to change the title of this later to something regarding rambling too. Because I'm rambling a lot. I love Gohan. I adore Gohan so much. He's such a wonderful character. And I wish he had become the main character. I wish after Goku had died, the first time Gohan had become the protagonist. I really wish he had. I think that would have been fascinating. Death Note is good, but he kind of changed my mentality to try and kill L on TV. Death Note is fascinating. I feel like everybody needs to watch Death Note at least once just because it's so different. You know, it's unique. It certainly is unique. Alright, I'm catching up, you dumb bitches. One Piece still going. Buggy, I always thought was inspired by the Joker. I don't know. I knew nothing about the Joker back when I read One Piece. It's in here in my basement. I've got all of my old stuff that I've moved with me and never unpacked in any of our last couple houses that him and I have had together, or apartments or whatever. They're down here somewhere in a big bag of things that were like meticulously packed together. Aw, good night, Mr. Adam. I'm sorry I missed you, dude. There's always a stupid animal companion. Marketing mandates it, so... yeah, God, I freaking hate that. I hate him so much. Yes, Black Romeo, exactly. He said, I watched Cyber Chase. You're talking about Digit. It was Gilbert Gottfried's voice. Yes, it was. I hated Digit, you know, no matter how talented and likable Gilbert Gottfried is. I hated Digit. I hated Radar from Stormhawks. I freaking hated him. Meowth I loved because I'm a hypocrite and I hyperfixated on Team Rocket to keep from committing suicide as a 10-year-old. So I'm just a hypocrite on that. Stop honking like a grown man. You're a cat. He's snoring so loud. But yeah, I typically don't like talking animal companions. Like the Digimon thing, I couldn't watch Digimon partly because of that and just because it didn't appeal to me. But like the weird part of Yu-Gi-Oh where like Yugi was hallucinating and like the Karibo was talking to him in his brain or whatever, that was a little weird. I wasn't into that. I was obsessed with Cyber Chase. Like, I think The Lion King was my first hyperfixation, and that started when I was like 6. And then I moved on, I believe, to Sagwa, and then Cyber Chase, and then I kind of grew out of those things, grew out, and moved into stuff like anime and like Xiaolin Showdown, and things like that. I've been like this since I was tiny. I've always been obsessed with something. Always. And it has almost always been a show. Just terminal autism, dude. Can't be cured. Usopp is dope, by the way. I need to read it again. I need to give it more of a shot now that I'm older and a little more mature. I don't really have the time to, but it's like I could read 5 chapters of One Piece in my downtime at work a day. There's no reason I couldn't do that, and I can't badmouth something. And I said this on Twitter too. I can't get in somebody's face and say something they love is shitty when I've hardly seen any of it. Like what I watched and read of One Piece is like 5% of it at most. So like I can say I don't care for it, but I don't have any right to get in somebody's face and say it's objectively bad because I haven't seen hardly any of it. And obviously you guys know some of the stuff I like is objectively terrible. I love Shadow the Hedgehog, stuff like that. So I can't be nasty to people. Sasuke is just clown shoes. He is. I hate Sasuke and I hate Sakura. I hate both of them. I despise them. There are so many wonderful characters in Naruto, and 2 of the most nasty, self-centered, cruel, petty, manipulative, childish, just egotistical people had to be 2 of the main characters. And Naruto had to love them both. I like Ino. I like Ino way more than either Sakura or Sasuke because she at least is who she is, unapologetically. I liked Kiba even though he was obnoxious more than them. Autism gang. Autism isn't fun. It really isn't. I'm glad you guys like Shadow the Hedgehog. I even knew it was the first video game I ever seriously played, and even then I could tell this is glitchy as hell and terribly made, but I still had fun. I liked the story, I liked the edgy vibe, and I loved the music. And there was so much potential in that game. Had it been fleshed out more, had it been a little less silly and edgy, had they put more effort into the animation, had they had a higher budget, had they actually like quality control tested the levels, a little bit, I think Shadow the Hedgehog could have been a resoundingly solid game instead of like the goofy nonsense. Look, my outfit matches, you guys. My foot is asleep, but I'm gonna stand up anyway. Don't look down my shirt. Don't cancel me. My outfit matches. Literally nobody cares. Okay, you guys are dudes. You probably care about me standing up and showing you things. I didn't mean to show you that, I swear. Oh, nobody's gonna believe me. I am e-thought. I am the Chad of e-thoughts now. Something, I don't know. I think I'm the only one who liked Chino. I loved Chino. I think on my bedroom wall, in a sleep deprived like haze of madness, I wrote "I heart Chino" in pencil when I was like 17. I think he's really cool. And I know there was some joke in like not Shippuden but like Boruto or one of the little spin-off series things where like they were in a bathhouse or something, and Naruto like looked over and looked at Shino and basically was like horrified by how massive his wang was. Like that's canon, right? Like Shino, I don't even whatever. I liked Shino. Shino Aburame. I remember that cuz I liked him. Naruto had a huge impact on me for better or for worse. Sonic Riders was epic too. Dude, I gave myself, because you had to like freaking to build up momentum to slingshot off of things in that game. You had to like vigorously like circle your oh no, your GameCube controller around. I ripped a massive chunk of skin off of my thumb doing that. I destroyed so many GameCube controllers playing that terrible game. And I have some of the Sonic Riders music too. You could buy it on iTunes. That was another game where like the soundtrack is very solid. I'm sorry I showed you guys that. I regret it. Oh my god. Exactly. Yeah, Dan definitely cared about that. I'm sure he did. Chad thought. That's me, yes. I'm an equal opportunity looter, but it does nothing for me, sadly. That's fair. Sonic 06 is actually getting a fan reboot. Ooh, really? How cool. He was. I swear that's canon. I saw that. Like, she knows, like, you know, I swear that's canon. Anyway, cool. So I'm going to actually get back on topic here. I'm going to try. I'm so tired. This crap happens to me all the time. I should not be surprised, but that's also almost as cliche and predictable for me as just rambling for hours, is genuinely being surprised that I ramble for hours. Aw, you've got to get going, Jimbly said. Thank you so much. You have a good night too. And yeah, we will talk soon. Do not feel bad about missing this shit. If you want to watch it later, that's awesome. You know, go right ahead, but whatever. Oh, good night, Ryder. You guys have a good night, okay? Love you. You guys are cool. Thank you so much for being funny and awesome. We're not too funny or awesome to hang out with me. Thank you. Whatever. I don't know. So what else do I need to say about this movie? I was saying that I liked the amount of screen time all of 1A got, and it in this movie it was much more significant, and it was much more do not feel bad. You just skedaddle, be on your way. I will be fine. I will ramble into the void. If you get hideously bored, you can watch this like on demand later or whatever. It's fine. Seriously. It's good. I don't mind. I mind more if you hackers don't get enough sleep. You hear me? Oh. Oh, God, it tastes like beef. I hate porters. Yeah, well, thank you. No, I really appreciate that, Jimbly, but seriously, you morons getting enough sleep, you especially, matters way more than listening to me ramble. I will ramble forever. Like, you can put this on as nightmare fuel, put it on while you're washing the dishes, or like something later if you have to watch, but please don't feel bad. It's more important to me that all of you guys take care of yourselves. Hi, how do you say your name? Kevo? 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 You're up late and you're drinking too. Nice. You got work tomorrow, though. Yeah. I understand that. Seriously, you guys. If you gotta get CPs, don't worry about me. Look, I'm wearing my Hawks earrings. I got square earrings from Amazon explicitly so I could be like Hawks. I did, and I've been wearing them every day since. Very proud of myself. I need no sleep, just a new job and a thick waifu. Woo. I know. I feel that, dude. I really do. Oh, Jesus. Dude, that's a bad idea. What the fuck is wrong with me? I can put this on while I'm trying to sleep. Lol, I was going to put on ASMR everywhere. I am not ASMR worthy at all. You're going to have nightmares about, like, I don't even know what. God, dude. Kevo, I'm sorry. Thank you. I appreciate you letting me know how to pronounce your name. I feel bad about screwing everybody's names up, so I will definitely ask. Um, what else was I gonna say? I really did. His hand is like the perfect size for holding. I am out of my goddamn mind, you guys. But I did like that. I really appreciated that. Ojiro got some screen time. Jiro, she got a lot of screen time. Um, God, I wanted to say Shino because now my brain is like back in 2004 or whatever. Sero got some screen time and that made me happy. Tana Bakugo, obviously that makes me happy. And one of the things I didn't care for so much was that obviously like the trailers um showed the villains a lot because there's the main villain in this movie and he's got like three henchmen, and there's like the sexy booby lady who's really scary, and then there's just like the kind of angsty normal looking dude, and then there's a like gargantuan ass werewolf guy who does like a special beam cannon from his mouth. They didn't explain how he can do that exactly. I'm not sure. It felt a little bit far-fetched to me, but I'm sure there's some logical explanation. They just didn't have time to address it in the movie, whatever. Um, I'm holding his hand. One beer and I'm like this. I am a danger to society, truly. Um, but the villains didn't really get much screen time, actually. The main villain did, obviously, but he was so much of a plot device. Like, the villains didn't get much character development. And I understand that that's pretty commonplace when it comes to sidekicks, but it could just be me. But I feel like the sidekicks in this, like the three henchmen or followers of the main villain guy, were particularly underdeveloped, and their personalities could have been uh, kind of showcased a little bit with their quirks, and maybe they were a little bit, but during their fights, because each of them had significant battles with different little groups from Class 1A, and they weren't fleshed out personality wise. And that's not necessary, but I would have appreciated it. As far as the main antagonist of the film, he needed to be fleshed out more. He had a very typical, like, delusional God complex sort of goal for the world. And, he could have allied with anybody to accomplish it. And it's something that like a lot of people would get a god complex if they have a strong quirk. It makes sense that would lend itself to that kind of psychology. But Kevo said I'm on my 11th beer. Should I finish the 12 pack? Jesus, dude. I would have 3 beers and I'd be sick for a week. You want to know if it was good. You don't care about spoilers. I thought it was good. I did. It could have been better, but I think it was better than the first movie, and I really liked the first movie. I did like it. Just drink some water, dude. Jesus, please don't get sick, okay? Ugh, it's gross. What do I expect? It's warm. I've been talking for 2 freaking hours. um, but yeah, the main villain was lacking backstory and context for why he did what he did. And for having raised the stakes as high as they were, for him having been as significant of a plot device as he was in this movie, being the catalyst for the shit that went down during this movie, you get to see my chest get red from a tiny little scritching I just did. He was not developed enough. He wasn't. His motivations were not contextualized enough, and they could have easily allocated like 7 more minutes of the movie to like a couple foreboding clips of somebody that you find out is him beforehand, and just a little bit of his inner monologue, and they could have made him so much more tangible and they could have given you so much more to appreciate in regard to him as a villain, and they really didn't. He was gorgeous. He was sexy. His character design was very cool, and he was scary. He posed a massive threat, like power level wise. But he could have been much more visceral. He could have been somebody you could get emotionally invested in. And they just didn't. They just didn't do that. And I wish they had. I thought All Might would be in this movie more than he was. And I really appreciate that they didn't force cameos of him in. Where All Might does appear or where he's referenced, it's necessary and relevant. So I appreciate that. I still feel like the Endeavor cameo toward the beginning was kind of a cameo. Like when they're pursuing the League, and the League has this like person in a capsule in a truck. The same kind of truck the League is always stealing. It just felt weird. It felt like they copied and pasted a chunk from like the League going after Chizaki after he had been apprehended. It just felt like they copied and pasted literal scenes from the anime for this, which was weird. Like, any heroes could have been pursuing the League, I guess, at the beginning of the movie. And it makes sense they would have some high profile ones doing so. I'm trying to remember who they were. Who were they? It wasn't like Mount Lady or Edge Shot, I don't think. I don't know who it was, but they were people we've seen before. It wasn't like Death Arms, but it was people we've seen before. And I mean, yeah, that makes sense because the League is high profile, so they would have some of the best heroes go after them, but it could have been anybody pursuing them at the beginning. So it did feel like with Endeavor and a couple other people, the cameos were a little bit forced. It really did. And that could just be my opinion, you know. And again, like with Hawks, anybody could have been doing the shit that Hawks did in this movie. Anybody. But it did kind of enhance his character in that it showcased how bright he is. Like, he figured stuff out fast. Like, what's going on with them? They are far away from any help. Class 1A is. And Hawks immediately puts the pieces together and figures out what's going on, and he goes to get them help like that. That helps to aid in understanding how bright his character is, because that's something, you know, later on when he shows up more in the actual anime, I don't know if it's a spoiler or not to say, but people tend to underestimate Hawks. So in that regard, I don't know if it was a good thing or not, you know, to show how bright he is, how intuitive he is, how quick of a thinker he is. Because it's kind of fun to see Hawks from the perspective of other characters in the manga, where he acts really laid back and kind of airheaded and effortless. And how bright he is not something he wears on his sleeve. I'm really drunk. I'm like gesticulating wildly and flapping about. I'm sorry. Don't get sick, Kevo. I know that's dumb. I know it's literally none of my business to lecture you, but I love you guys and I worry about you. And I've had alcohol like poisoning once, and it was hell. I also was getting the flu and didn't realize it that night. And I had a Four Loko for the first time, and also had the flu. I've never been sick like that. I've never had alcohol poisoning before, but just don't make yourself sick. That's the worst, and I hate to know anybody sick. That's bad beer. I don't like porters. My mom would bully me for that, but beer that dark I don't like. Sartre said I don't drink alcohol. It would just make my situation worse. Kevo said, I'm brand new to this channel. I think I found you through Chibi. What other anime do you like? Oh, cool. Yeah, through Chibi reviews. Because, yeah, I happened to pick the same hashtag that I asked people to use, that he decided on the same hashtag then like 2 days later, and it blew up, and I cried. I'm not too much of a coward to admit that I cried when I saw that We Support You Horikoshi was trending, and that guy did it, you know. Nobody saw my video. Like 1,500 people saw my video. 1,400 people saw my video, and I rewatched my video obsessively 100 times for errors because I'm insane. But, you know, I was so excited to see that he did that. What other anime do you like? That's no problem. I'll go on a little tangent here, but I'm trying to speed myself up because I'm sleepy and I'm kind of drunk. So I'm like, really, I really have a propensity to be like off on other topics. I can take him off of the stand and just like hold him and love him. I am out of my mind. What was the question? What other anime do I like? Not my favorite necessarily. I'm very much like a normie shonen anime person, and I always have been. What do I like? I think I have to burp. Let me burp before I start talking. Too much alcohol, too fast. 2 hours, one beer, and I'm like this. That's also a sign of autism, actually. Autists have a harder time holding their alcohol or handling it or whatever. I love Mob Psycho 100. That is one of my favorites of all time. Reagan is best girl. I love MP 100. I like One Punch Man, although season 1 I think was better before they switched to a new studio. I really like Sankarea if you want something kind of obscure. Sankarea is one of my favorites of all time. I like some yaoi stuff, obviously, but I'm not going to push that on you guys since most of you are straightish men. You know, I'm not going to recommend stuff that you aren't going to care for like that. I do consume a lot of yaoi. That's a thing I do. MHA, obviously. I love Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Z is like seared onto my soul. I will always love DBZ. I like Cowboy Bebop a lot. Obviously, it's phenomenal. Everybody likes it, but it's because it's so good. I really liked Kill la Kill. I think it's extremely charming. What's some stuff that I always forget to mention? I really like Dead Man Wonderland. Like, it's really over the top and edgy, but I love it. I really love it. Future Diary is good. Again, that's one of those shows where like the main like love interest I detest so much that it makes it hard for me to watch. But Future Diary, everybody should watch. It's phenomenal. Gaunt's If You Can Stomach It is iconic, and it is for a reason. What's some stuff that I always forget to recommend to people? I've seen so many things, and there are so many things I forget to reference. I'm a huge fan of the old Zoids. That was the first anime I ever watched, was Zoids. I don't know what to say that everybody hasn't watched. I'm having trouble thinking of anything at the moment. Oh my god. I almost said Super Jail. That's how drunk I am. That's not an anime, Michelle. No. God, what else? The Devil is a Part-Timer is hysterically funny. Look at my, like, little chestular area. I just, like, obliterated it with a few little scratches. That's how fair my skin is. But yeah, Devil's a Part-Timer is hilarious. Don't look at my boobs like that. Good heavens. I don't know. That's all I can think of at the moment. I could compile a good list for you, and I have compiled a good list in the past for people, but I truly can't think of much at the moment. I'm like out of my mind from one beer I drank very slowly. Trinity Blood. You have to, I would say read Trinity Blood, don't watch it. Trinity Blood is one of the best mangas of all time. It is just phenomenal. Read Trinity Blood. You can watch it. It's good, but it's just God, it's so freaking good. So that's everything I can think of at the moment. But there you go. Sounds like a Shikamaru character. Hawks is, yes, from how I described him, but he's not. Like, I don't know how to articulate. He's like gorgeous and sexy and easygoing, and he's a massive celebrity. And he's the youngest hero to get into the top 10 and run his own hero agency. Like, he's a massive celebrity. But he doesn't want it. He doesn't care about that. He doesn't want that. He just wants the world to be an easier place for people to live in. He's had a hard life, but I don't know how to describe Hawks without giving shit away from the manga, but Hawks is one of my favorite characters of all time. Skyrocketed to that position so fast. Reagan is best girl. Darn tootin' he is. Yes, Sankarea. Sankarea. And Rhea is the, like, main character's love interest. But Sankarea is fantastic. I love that series. Oh my God. Speaking as an autist, I couldn't handle my alcohol until I did moonshine in Ohio. Oof, that's scary. And Dan S. is slandering me. Kill la Kill is one of my faves. I love Kill la Kill. Like, in regard to Studio Trigger, everybody said to watch Gurren Lagann, and I like Gurren Lagann a lot, but I think Kill la Kill blows it out of the water. And I don't know why. I don't know if it's just because, like, Gurren Lagann is almost very melancholy. I think that's what it is, because Gurren Lagann is melancholy, and Kill la Kill is just nuts and so in your face. I love that. Shumaneta is another one you have to watch. It's so funny and so good. And ReZero, let's just say ReZero too. ReZero is fantastic, but it's heavy. Um, but yeah, like Kill la Kill is, I love Kill la Kill. I'm so out of Bootleg Alley A. MHA the new movie is so clunky story. Um, I don't think so. I think it's better than the last one. I think the pacing is better than the last movie. It held my attention the whole way through, and that's hard to do. I usually get really antsy during movies. So I definitely think I liked it more than you did. Uh, but I'm a little over halfway through my explanation of what I felt about it, or how I felt about it. Hunter x Hunter would be a good one to recommend. I still have to watch that. Yu Yu Hakusho is one of my favorites, and I totally forgot it. You have to watch Yu Yu Hakusho. It is fantastic. Kevo. Aw, Purple Man said you probably get this a lot and are probably tired of it. I'm not. I'm not. Any compliment and feedback from you guys means more to me than you realize. But your Game Grumps video is really cool. I was pretty blind for a while. I'm really sorry I ruined Game Grumps for people. I am. It's not like I have secret insider information. I just kind of, I believe I read between the lines, and I watched them for a long time, so I picked up on stuff and changes that newer fans weren't there for. And I feel bad for, like, kind of changing how highly people thought of the Game Grumps, but at the same time, it's like, if I was a fan of somebody and they pulled the shit that the Game Grumps have, I would want to know about it, So I have to remind myself when people are kind of crestfallen after seeing my video that I'm not the one who did anything wrong. I'm just compiling that stuff and reporting on it, in my opinion. But yeah. Game Grumps is fine. If they bring you joy, that's phenomenal. A lot of my best friends are huge Game Grumps fans, but I would say Stan Oni Plays. Chris and his friends are some of the most talented comedians and creatives on the planet, and I'm a huge fan of them. They are all amazing people, and if you ever kind of like feel yourself getting worn out from Game Grumps, it's not for everyone. It's very niche, bizarre humor, but I would recommend Oni Plays to anybody. What about Code Geass? I watched Code Geass and I liked it, but I don't know if it's one of my favorites. ReZero Hype, yes. Ugh, clamp designs. That's another problem. I don't like Clamp. Like, Clamp's character designs are so ridiculous and distracting that I can't focus on their stories. And I know that's not necessarily popular, but I do not like Clamp. Yeah, Purple Man said I looked up to Aaron a lot for so many reasons. Rurouni Kenshin. I really liked Kenshin too, but I haven't watched it since I was like a kid. So, I can't really say for sure, you know? Oh, I miss Ding Dong and Julian so much. I binged their stuff from 17 through 19. They are so cute. Like, I think I love every Jesus, I can't talk. Every era of Oni Plays, but they're also different. Like, how sweet Ding Dong and Julian's sense of humor was. Like, every once in a while, I'll go back and rewatch, like, one of the full series where they were the co-hosts, and I will I will go from doing normal around the house things to curled up on the floor crying laughing. Truly, that's not hyperbole. That's not like literally screaming SKS whatever kids do these days. It genuinely kills me. It's so funny. I adore them so much. They're very funny. Watched Game Grumps for a few years. Seen the writing on the wall of Oni Plays. Been a fan of his since Newgrounds. Yeah. Slingus, is that your name? Slingus? Yeah, dude, I used to binge Sleepy Cabin. That's one of the first tattoos I'm considering getting is a Sleepy Cabin key. Actually. Sleepy Cabin changed my life. No joke, it absolutely did. So anyway, I'm so sorry. I'm trying so hard to stay on topic here, but so I really like the movie overall. I really like the pacing. I think it's solid. Fuck you, printer. My printer makes terrifying noises in the dead of night every couple days, and I hate it when I'm down here alone and it does it. It's so scary. Stupid printer. How old are you, Mort? If that's not too personal. I'm 27. I turned 27 recently, and I'm still like this. Just zoning out, thinking about how nice Dobby's hands are. I'm still like this. I'm the same person I was when I was 14. I just pay taxes now and have a fiance who is my hostage, my hapless hostage. But I appreciated that the emphasis of this movie, and again, there are going to be spoilers for the movie, not super okay, they're going to be pretty specific as I wrap up here. But spoilers, whatever. I appreciate that the emphasis of this movie was more on 1A. You know, the last movie was still very much about All Might, and that's fair. You know, I adore All Might, and he's a crucial, pivotal part of the story. But I like that this movie didn't force like the All Might cameo on you or anything. It focused more on Class 1A, as it should, as the future, as the focus, as the fate of Japan shifts to being on the shoulders of 1A. I really liked the symbolism of this movie being basically them having to fend for themselves as they will, you know, in so few years in their little lives and their you know, canon timeline. I appreciated that. What else did I want to note specifically? I mentioned how I liked how kind of like vague and cautious and strategic they were with the timing based on like the simuldub stuff, how far the anime is, how many people they know have read ahead in the manga. Obviously, because they were teasing Hawks at the beginning of this season, so they know everybody's reading ahead. It felt different. And that could be totally my perception, and it almost definitely is. This is probably a point you can disregard entirely, but it felt... Oh God, I hate that this one nail is broken. All my other fingers look like lady fingers, and then I've got this one that looks like it just got chopped off. I'm so distracted. Yawn wider. What is wrong with you? Now I'm gonna cover my mouth and yawn because I'm self-conscious, dude. Oh my God, help me. Oh. Sarcer will be 26 next month. I didn't like 26 because I don't like even numbers. They drive me nuts. Duh, my little brain, dude, is not working so good. I'm so tired. It felt different. The feeling of this movie, like, Two Heroes, is that what the first one was called? I don't even remember, which is so sad. Two Heroes felt, it had the same feel, it had the same vibe, it had the same energy and momentum and kind of level of being upbeat that the show did at the exact time chronologically in the show when Two Heroes took place. But Heroes Rising feels a little bit darker, a little bit more hurried, a little bit more mature, I would even venture to say, than where we are currently in the release of the episodes of season 4. And I think that was strategic. I think they put out the movie ahead of where the anime is to make you even more excited for the things that are coming up. I think it was a very intelligent sort of teaser on their part in that regard. And what else was I gonna say? I've covered most everything here. Let me think. I've covered pretty much everything getting up to the stuff at the end. It's hard not to touch on the stuff at the end, so I'm gonna have to. Oh, I see Dan was timed out. I don't mind people being flirtatious, but after a while I do get I get a little bit uncomfortable after a certain point, for sure. Purple Man said, even numbers are the best, mate. I don't know about that. Jimbly said, my small burger from 2 hours ago made my fat heart race, so I'm going to be able to see the stream. And lol, there you go. Oh my God, no. Shame on you, Kevo. You were going to talk about Raid Shadow Legends, I think. They've paid me $0 and 0 cents, so that is not going to happen. God, good. Pause for yawn. Oh, just a minute. Oh my God. I lost a like on the stream, I think, because somebody got a timeout. You guys should like my stream and be supportive, please. I'm vaguely interesting, so that would be cool. What I'm kidding. You do not have to like my stuff unless you feel so compelled. But yeah, I'm gonna have to get to some spoilers now toward the end because there's no way to dance around this stuff. So just like if you don't want spoilers for the end of the movie, thought be gone, I guess. So Imagine if she got a Raid Shadow Legends sponsor. They would pay me like 0.3 cents. Those people are so cheap. I don't mean to be mean. But like, Saber Spark has almost 1 million subscribers, and they emailed him and were only going to give him $7,500. $7,500? This guy has almost 1 million people who regularly watch his stuff, and you're going to give him enough to buy a clunky, really old car that's going to be useless in 2 years? I mean, I get that most people are like, shit, dude, I'd be a prostitute for $7,500. But if somebody's got nearly 1 million subscribers, that was like shocking to me. And maybe there's something wrong with me. I could use $7,500, obviously, but I would be insulted. I would be insulted if that was how much a company like that offered to pay me to advertise their product to nearly 1 million people. I don't know. My standards are wacky, I guess. Oh, he downvoted it? Oh, gosh. Well, I mean, everybody has a right to their opinion, you know, but I also, you know, I get it. I totally appreciate, and I have very immature humor myself. I don't mind sexual humor. That's basically all of my humor, but yeah, it gets to a point where it's really distracting and creepy and almost confrontational, where it ceases to be funny. And, you know, it's one of those things too where it's like, even if something doesn't necessarily bother me, if it gets to the point where it's irritating everyone else in the chat and detracting from their experience, I will, you know, I'll mute people. So it do be like that sometimes. Kings, did that make sense? Is that how kids talk these days? I'm trying to be hip and young. No, yeah, you said, I like you, we have similar personalities. Sorry if that's weird to say. No, that's not weird at all. I really appreciate the compliment. And if it makes you feel less alone in the world, you know, that makes it sound kind of mean. But like, if I can make people happy, if I can make you feel, you know, like you've got something in common with someone else, which you do, but if I can point that out for you and do something to cheer you up and brighten your day a little bit, that's all I want to do. You know, it's super gay, but like I pray almost every night that I find a way to use my creativity to make other people's lives a little bit better. That's all I want to do. And if I manage to do that for you guys, that means everything to me. That's all I want to do. I want to make your guys' lives a little bit easier, a little bit happier. Your hair looks good. I got long strawberry blonde hair, but always wanted true blonde. I've always been this color. I mean, it's fluctuated based on like the phases and the whims of my hairstylist, my one hairstylist I've ever seen. I save up money and see her like twice a year because it's, dude, you know what I mean? You don't know what I mean. I said dude and I belched. But thank you, I appreciate that. I think strawberry blonde hair is gorgeous too. Yeah, I appreciate that, Jimbly. No, I think that was a very fair use of your powers. That's not something where I would take you aside later and be like, no, you don't do that now. Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things, like if something bothers me but doesn't bother the chat, I'll let it go a lot longer. But there are things that don't bother me so much, but if they interfere with the people I care about, my supporters, the people who are so generous as to give me their time and support, if something is really detracting from your experience here, then I take it pretty seriously too, so I get it. Me as a mechanic still driving a 2001 just fine. Well, good for you, dude. That's, you know, people don't know how to do the appropriate amount of maintenance on their cars. I don't, you know. If you can do that, that's quite an accomplishment. That's not something to be ashamed of whatsoever. I think it's weird that somebody who's like a pretty decent celebrity, having almost 1 million subscribers, would be paid the amount for, you know what I mean, a car of that age. Like, that has no bearing on how accomplished or knowledgeable you are, or how admirable it is to be able to keep a car like that running. You know, I don't look down on people who have older cars. I just think that I just thought it was very inappropriate to offer such a low amount to somebody who's a pretty well-known, like, celebrity online, as a business owner. Oh, you've helped make my life a lot better that's really sweet. Thank you, dude. I appreciate that. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you so much, dude. So, let's get toward the end here. Spoilers. Should I bring up my, like, idiotic little banner I made in MS Paint again? Aw, my smelly gremlin boyfriend. I made that in Microsoft Paint all by myself. Now I'm covered up by the microphone here. Do you guys care? Type 69 in the chat if you want the banner of Dobby to go away again. Since everybody knows from the title. Here. I'll try and get situated here. Hello, friends. I am properly not centered, but everything looks harmonious to me from a graphic design aesthetic now. Needs more Dobby. Perfect. So as I was saying, I remember reading in one of the earlier chapters, because Horikoshi will put a little message with most chapters that he releases of My Hero Academia. He was saying, he was thanking everybody, he was excited about the movie coming up. And he said that he doesn't think there will be another one after the second one, because he wasn't expecting it. And when they approached him about it, he didn't know what else to do, because the stakes were so high in that first movie, you know, with the imagery of Midoriya and All Might doing that smash move together against a villain. How do you up the ante beyond that point? How do you exceed that, you know, without doing something really sleazy and gimmicky? So unless it was like totally fabricated or mistranslated entirely, Horikoshi said in one of his little author's messages to the readers that he had to take something that he had planned for the finale of the series and put it in this movie, because he didn't know how else to, like, authentically up the stakes for this movie. And I may be wrong in my assumption, but I'm fairly certain that I know which thing that happened at the end of this movie he's referring to, that he took out of his plans for the finale of the series altogether in order to up the stakes for this movie. And what happens basically is this villain it's kind of like a microcosm of the whole series, this movie is, because the villain has been given the ability, through things that I can't really talk about without spoiling stuff that's coming up in the manga. I totally spoiled it by even saying that much. The villain of the movie is given the ability to steal other people's quirks. So it's a lot like All for One's ability to steal other people's quirks. And in this movie, his body breaks down when he uses immensely strong quirks from a ton of other people. And what he needs is a quirk that will heal his body when it begins to break down. And so he targets somebody who has that quirk, who he can steal it from. And everybody's trying to protect them from this villain. So the villain is looking... My heater just got quiet. I'm sure you guys can hear my heater in the background. My gargantuan 45-year-old heater. I'm so sorry about that. Dude, I started a sentence and I don't remember what I said now. Oh, shit. But, so the hero, oh my god. The villain is pretty stereotypical, pretty power hungry, and they have to stop him from doing this bad thing that is very much an all for one type thing to do. Where was I going to go from here? I'm hitting the wall of fatigue and exhaustion. I'm not. I'm just trying to think of how to. So it's kind of a. I wouldn't say formulaic necessarily, but this villain appears. He and his henchmen show up, and there's an initial battle where it is demonstrated that once he is pushed to a certain point, despite how incredibly OP he is, his body starts breaking down, and he's like doubled over in pain and can't continue to fight. So then toward the end, they know all of the main characters know, like, we can defeat him if we drive him past that point where his body starts breaking down and he's in so much pain he can no longer battle us. And it's kind of, again, I'm not going to say formulaic, but it's what I might call routine, and there's nothing exceedingly unique about how he gets stronger like throughout the series. You know, they have to continue to intensify the stakes towards the very end of the movie. Obviously everything, you know, peaks like that at the end of a movie. That's just how it is. Excuse me. Sorry, I'm dying. I spit on my chin. Great, very nice. But as they are raising the stakes toward the very end of the movie, the heroes manage to push the villain to that threshold where they know his body's going to start falling apart and he's going to be so overcome by pain that he's not going to be able to keep fighting them. And they figure if we draw him out to this point, then we can defeat him and actually get some significant blows against him and get a foothold on the situation, you know, and get the upper hand. That's what it is. I keep thinking the goddamn high ground. They think, you know, like, we can get the upper hand on him once we push him to this threshold. Well, they get him to that point, and then he just gets stronger in the final battle, and it doesn't make any sense. You know, obviously it's one of those things where things have to continue to raise in stakes and intensity and pressure toward the end of a movie. But it defies the system they set up until this point in regard to how to actually defeat him. And what, like, my fiance and I kind of inferred at the end of the movie is that up until this point, the character has been seeking out the ability to heal himself. So he is not killed and he is not destroyed by all of these powers that he's trying to contain in his body. His objective at the beginning of the movie is to do this, like, kind of like megalomaniac god complex thing where I'm going to, like, liberate the world and stuff, and, you know, it will belong to the powerful from now on. But his current short-term goal is to steal somebody's quirk that allows him to heal so he can continue to stay healthy and live throughout seeing this goal being realized. And what they don't explain well in the middle of that last battle is that when they push him to that threshold where he can no longer go on and his body starts breaking down, instead of being preoccupied with being able to preserve his own health and his own life, he then falls back on just repeating that he wants his, like, world liberation domination plan fulfilled. So what they didn't explain in this moment very well, but that what we both can reasonably infer is what was going on, is that once he realized that he was going to die and that his short-term goal of attaining this healing ability was no longer going to happen, he then just reverted to focusing on his long-term goal and kind of conceding that he was not going to be able to see it being brought about, but he was just falling back on fixating on that goal itself. Give me just a minute. Okay. I'm sorry. I don't like putting people in timeout, but after a while it does get on my nerves. And if it's not constructive whatsoever to the chat or funny, I reserve the right to put you in timeout. I'm sorry, sir. I apologize. I know you got more upset after your last timeout, but like, dude. Come on now. You're offending my love here. Anyway, they failed to explain in the movie that that's what happened. Like, it happened, but it was done in a very weird, poorly executed, clumsy way. Like, what they needed to do is they needed to provide even like 7 minutes more in the film. They needed to allot even like 7 minutes more to explaining this character's goal. Why he had this weird kind of cliche God complex, like I'm going to create a new, wonderful, liberated era type goal. And they needed to allocate, even just in an inner monologue in that very moment, they needed to explain a lot more clearly why at the end, when they followed the rules established earlier in the movie, instead of him being able to be defeated, he got stronger. They needed to explain that the reason he got stronger is because he no longer was preoccupied with trying to preserve his own body and his own life in order to attain that goal. Hi, Ed. Are you interrupting me now that I finally got started? Kitty. Don't eat hair. Come here. Do not eat hair. Gross. Thank you. Okay. We're not eating our own tufts of hair. That's ridiculous. We don't do that in this house. Do you want to come on my lap? Kitty. Come on in. Kitty. Well, yes or no? We're in the middle of something. Yeah? Come here, handsome boy. Yay! Yay, Edgar is now my stream kitty. Hi, handsome. Hi, handsome. So, was I making any sense? Most likely not. Did you fart? Not cool, bro. Anyway, they needed to explain that the reason the character got stronger was not just because they were lazily, poorly writing a way to intensify the plot toward the end of the movie. It was because he gave up on that goal of I'm going to preserve my own life in order to see my God complex goal realized. It wasn't about that anymore. He realized I'm going to die. I am now reverting to obsessing over my goal because it's the only thing I have to sustain me and keep me going through this battle where I'm going to die. And because he lost his self-preservation, because he no longer had anything to live for and had accepted that he was going to die, that's why when he hit that wall, instead of going down, he got stronger. And they failed to explain that in the movie. You know, if that's something that, like, we as avid watchers and fans of this series inferred and mentioned to each other to confirm that's what was going on, that's not good writing. What? You coming up, or do you want to go out of the room? What? I'm in the middle of something. What? Can you wait a minute? I'm almost done. Okay. What? What do you want out of the room? What? I don't know what he wants. I don't know if he wants out of the room. Just interrupt my live stream, why don't you, good friend? Okay, he's fine for the moment. He'll be okay. I'm sorry, Edgar doesn't really understand the proper decorum in regard to somebody live streaming, clearly. But, like, do you guys understand what I'm saying here? Like, it just looked like an incredibly lazy, poorly written way to just make the story more intense. They didn't explain why they broke their own rules they established earlier in the plot for you to follow along with. Do you want out of the room? I can let you out. Edgar needs to go potty or something. I will be right back. I'm sorry. Just a minute. Okay, honey, I'll let you out, alright? You're very handsome, you are. You're my beautiful boy, okay? Alright, you go, baby boy. I love you, honey. My sock is falling off. What the hell, man? I'm going to rewatch this tomorrow, and I'm going to be so mortified at how many times I said the same thing over and over again. Excuse me. But yeah, like they needed to explain that better. They needed to explain why that thing happened. That it wasn't them breaking the rules they had just established. It was because that villain threw out all sense of self-preservation, and that's why he got stronger. They didn't explain that, and they should have. And it could have been, it would have been so easy for them to do so. Just allocate 30 more seconds, 10, 15 more seconds in that very moment to explain in an inner monologue that he's giving up on his own life, and that's why he's letting go of his reservations and getting stronger. And they didn't do that, and I don't understand why. So then the other thing, this is a major spoiler, obviously, hence my silly little MS Paint banner here. The thing that I'm pretty sure Horikoshi was referring to that he took out of the finale of the series because he didn't know how else to up the ante in this show, up the ante for this movie, since the last movie was so intense and was such a big deal, is, major spoiler again, the two main heroes, the two main characters that this whole story centers on, Midoriya and Bakugo, are on the cusp of being killed. And the people that they have sacrificed their lives to protect are about to be gotten by the bad guy. So in their last moment of desperation, both of them having fought almost to the end of their lives to try to save these people, Midoriya tells Bakugo, there's only one thing left we can do. Something to the effect of, like, are you thinking what I'm thinking? And because Midoriya, his limbs are broken from using One for All to try and kill this bad guy, and they don't know what else to do, and they're completely out of options, Midoriya gives One for All to Bakugo. Which is insane. Which is an amazing plot point. So it's treated, obviously, as if Midoriya can't get it back. Once you pass One for All on to someone else, you no longer have it. And it's like he's sacrificing everything he's fought for up to this point. He's willing to going back to being this quirkless, powerless character to save these lives. And Bakugo recognizes the gravity of this decision that Midoriya is making. But both of them recognize that saving the lives of innocents is what they are meant to do. And it's what drives them. It's what compels them. It's what makes them do what they do. So they do it. And it's amazing. Up until this point, there have been a lot of like different like 3D effects and stuff in the show. Like there are storms and there's lightning and there are different things that are not 2D animation. And up until this like climax of the movie, I know, exactly. I spoiled shit for you guys. I warned you fools. I warned you. I've got the MS Paint banner up. um Up until this point, the like 3D animation felt really discordant to me. Like the roiling storm clouds and the couple different like the smoke effects and things, they look really not fake necessarily, but they're so different from the actual 2D animation that it's really jarring and doesn't look good. And there are ways you can do like really obvious 3D computer animation to make it look to make it look good, to make it fit, to make it appear cohesive with 2D animation. And I think they failed. They failed up until this point. It was distracting. It looked like the old Pokemon movies where they would have some effect like storm clouds or something. And it was so obvious that this was a different kind of media they were using that it totally destroys your immersion, and it doesn't make what you're looking at look like it's all one plane of existence. It doesn't look like it's all in the same world. But this final battle where Midoriya's like, the entire battle at Camino, All Might had already sacrificed his power, but the echoes, the shockwaves of that power within him were enough for him to continue to fight on and use One for All, you know, long after. And I know I've got some reserves of this power left in me, and I know I can do this. So Midoriya and Bakugo both use One for All to defeat this villain. And it is amazing. And the way this is animated, my fiance said it reminded him of Mob Psycho 100, because the way this final battle, the way the power pouring off of them, the way the earth being destroyed under and around them as they defeat this villain, with, I think it's a Detroit Smash, I'm not sure what move it is. That animation is like mixed media animation, but it is gorgeous. It is cohesive. It is beautifully, artfully done, and it's amazing how it's done. But then the thing is, good night, Kevo. Thank you for stopping by, dude. I appreciate that. It's amazing. It's impactful. It's powerful. It is so freaking cool. And like I actually saw this spoiler and then I forgot about it because I'm that much of a doofus. Like I forgot that I knew that this happened. Like I willed myself to forget it because I didn't want a spoiler to ruin everything for me. But because that was something that Horikoshi wanted to be done in the finale of the show, because like at the end of My Hero Academia, he wanted Midoriya like to have to give One for All to Bakugo, and because the series can't exactly go on if they like slam the entire story to a grinding halt there and get rid of it, they had to undo that for the end of the movie. Which obviously like you knew was going to happen. But the explanation they give for why Midoriya retains One for All makes very little sense. Like, I was thinking as this was happening, the story has to go on. Midoriya still has to have One for All. So how are they going to explain that away? How is Bakugo able to use One for All with him? You know, like, it makes sense that Bakugo would know the moves because they were both huge fans of All Might. They both have obsessively studied All Might's technique. Bakugo has obsessively studied Midoriya's technique. He knows that the sheer power, you know, like rampaging through his body will break his limbs. Like, Bakugo knows how this is going to happen. So that was something that could be explained. You know, it made sense that Bakugo would know how to use whatever move it was with Midoriya. But how did Midoriya keep the power? after that happened. You know, it doesn't make any sense. And if you've gone ahead in the story, if you've read the manga beyond whatever point this movie is supposed to take place at, you know that Midoriya still has One for All. So it completely robs this moment of impact. Not completely, but it does to an extent, because I've seen more of the anime. I've seen more of the manga, so you know that Bakugo doesn't go on to be the one having One for All and being trained by whoever, All Might or whoever. So unfortunately, that kind of takes away from that moment, because you know to an extent it's not permanent. Or if it is, you're thinking, how could it be? As opposed to being awed by the impact of it. You're thinking about how could this be? You're distracted by that. Excuse me, you guys. I'm sorry. One moment. I'll take my crusty, ugly boyfriend away again and go back in the middle of the screen. So the thing that I had the most problem with is their explanation for how and why this happens. The explanation that, like, he and All Might come up with is that, like, somehow all the former users of One for All the prior people who held, bore the mantle. I can't speak English, oh dear. They like defied the way the quirk works, because Midoriya was the chosen one. He was the next chosen one in the lineage, So because he is the chosen one, they somehow miraculously made him retain One for All, despite him trying to give it to Bakugo, because it's the only way they could stop this guy and save these people. So that kind of sucks too, because Bakugo is a remarkable hero. His personality is not necessarily compatible with the mantle of One for All and who All Might would choose, and who All Might's, like, friends and confidants would want him to choose. Thinking of Mirio having been the one that other people wanted One for All to be given to. But this implication that, like, obviously it's about Midoriya. It's not about Bakugo not being good enough. It's about Midoriya being the one who it's meant to be given to next. But it feels like the previous users of One for All are almost like, no, it can't be Bakugo. Like, we're going to defy the very laws of the quirk in order to keep it from being Bakugo. It feels that way to an extent to me. I'm like, well, that's weird, because as much as it's about how utterly worthy and good enough Midoriya is, there's still that other side of the coin where I couldn't help but feeling like it's also that Bakugo is so unworthy, which doesn't make sense, because I'm sure some of the previous wielders of One for All would not have agreed with All Might choosing Midoriya. But Midoriya is the one who is now the holder of One for All. If he thinks Bakugo is worthy, then that's all that should be needed. That should be enough. And it wasn't, and that didn't make any sense to me. And then the other thing that doesn't make any sense is that the poorly cobbled together explanation from Midoriya is that somehow what we think happened is a technicality, like, because Kachan fell unconscious before One for All could be fully transferred to him, the transfer didn't happen. And somehow, when he woke up, he didn't remember anything about it. What? Bakugo is incredibly intelligent. He has spent a huge chunk of his life obsessing over All Might, and since then he has spent a huge chunk of his life obsessing over Midoriya. He's smart enough to figure out what happened. If he wakes up with his arm broken and mangled in the exact same way that Midoriya's limbs are mangled when he uses too much of One for All and can't control it, he's way too smart to not know what happened. He's way too smart not to at least suspect that that's what happened somehow in the heat of that battle. If he doesn't remember what happened, what explanation could they have given him to explain what happened that would have been comprehensive enough? Because Midoriya is not a very good liar. And we know that Toshinori is a terrible liar. He's not good at things like that. He wouldn't be good at coming up with a lie at the last minute. That's not the way his intelligence works. So that whole explanation at the end of the movie made very, very little sense to me. And it's just... Bakugo's too smart for that. He would at least suspect something like that happened. And I get that maybe they have to make it that he doesn't remember it because obviously this is an isolated story and they need canon to proceed uninterrupted, more or less. Which nullifies the movie, and I don't understand why having the movie if the story's not going to be changed by it whatsoever. Anime DX2 said, alright, would love to stay, but I have school tomorrow. Good night. Good night, dude. Thank you so much for stopping by. I really appreciate it. Have a good night and do your best surviving school. It's almost the weekend. But it just... that doesn't make any sense, you know? And what would go wrong if Bakugo had it? Like, as much as Bakugo has grown recently in the series, I don't think it would destroy his psyche to know that he had One for All and it wasn't for him. On the contrary, that would have been an extraordinary example of how much he has matured. Him having accepted that All Might chose Midoriya, I don't have to like it, but this is Midoriya's right. This is Midoriya's responsibility now. And he has earned it, and I respect that. And I got to feel what it was like. You know, like, I think Bakugo would be an incredible amount of strife. But I truly believe that Bakugo would have been able to handle the psychological ramifications of having been passed One for All by Deku and then losing it. I you know, like that was what bothered me the most about this movie. That did not make any sense. And it was just proof that this was something he wanted to do in the finale. And he basically said in that author's note where he said that I had to take a big chunk out of the finale and do it now because they approached me and wanted another movie made, and I didn't... How do I up the stakes from the first movie? I didn't plan for that. You know, because he had to make it happen earlier in the movie than it was meant to happen, he had to nullify parts of it for the story to continue and still have the stakes it has. Like, obviously, Bakugo couldn't keep One for All, or he couldn't have taken it from Deku, you know? But I did not like how they handled it. It didn't make any sense. Like, both that the prior users of One for All who are with Deku in spirit would stop the transfer when Deku deemed somebody worthy and deemed it necessary to do so at that time. That doesn't make any sense. You know, Deku deciding that Bakugo is worthy should be enough. Full stop. And the idea that Bakugo wouldn't know that something like that happened is ridiculous. Like, any lie that just All Might and Midoriya could have come up with together would not be enough. He is so smart. He's distrusting of people by nature. If his arm is mangled in the exact same freaking way that Izuku's limbs are mangled when he uses too much of One for All for his body to handle, he wouldn't have just been like, what the hell happened in my sleep to mangle my arm like this? What did you people do to me? And storm off. And it being a comical moment, that wouldn't happen. He's way too smart for that. He would have figured out what happened. He's way too smart for that. And that was my main problem with the movie. I thought the pacing was great. But then, yeah, that's the other thing. It's like that would have been such a massive step forward in their relationship, because the whole series is about Midoriya and Bakugo's relationship and how it compels them both to, God, I don't want to say go beyond again. That's so stupid. But literally, that's literally what it is. They compel each other to go beyond anything they could have without that driving, opposing magnetic force of one another in their lives. The entire series is about how Midoriya and Bakugo drive each other to become these exceptional people, better than they ever could have been without one another in their lives. And that would have been a perfect example of that. The fact that Midoriya trusts Bakugo and thinks so highly of him to do that for him, the fact that they both care so much about saving people, the fact that they're both so utterly and truly heroic and selfless that they would do that, you know, that's amazing. But you just took that all away? Somehow Bakugo doesn't remember it happening? That is so stupid. That makes no sense at all. And that bothered me so much, you know, and it just sucks that had to be taken away from the finale, because what could have been more bittersweet and gut-wrenching and heartbreaking than that, then at the end of the series, they're both on the cusp of death fighting some villain, and after everything Midoriya has fought for, after One for All changing his life, and giving him everything he has, and One for All being the symbol of his hero, deeming him worthy of an incredible responsibility, him having to hand that off to Bakugo, proving how much he trusts Bakugo, how highly he thinks of Bakugo. He trusts him with the future. He's willing to give up his legacy. And how symbolic that is of just them exemplifying what heroes are and what being a hero means. That would have been incredible. Absolutely incredible. And because they wanted to make another movie, because they make so much money, they basically robbed that incredibly intense, impactful plot point of all the meaning it had. Like, if all that had happened, except Bakugo somehow having amnesia and forgetting it all happened, I would have loved this movie so much. And I still think it was better than the first movie. The pacing, the direction, the writing, I really, really liked it. It's a very good movie, but that made absolutely no sense. It makes everything feel like a lie. You know, everything that comes after this, it makes it feel like a lie. Like, how is Midoriya supposed to be in the same room as Bakugo when they're talking about One for All and its implications and its potential with All Might? And Midoriya and All Might both just know that Bakugo actually took the mantle, and then that was taken away from him, and they both know exactly what happened and he doesn't, and they have to pretend like that. No, that's antithetical to so much that has been established in this series. So, like, shit, man, that's my problem. That's my problem with the ending of the movie. I think it was a very, very solid movie. I didn't enjoy it as much as the first one, but that was because of surrounding circumstances, not the substance of the movie itself, necessarily. But I'm so disheartened by that. It basically isn't canon. Because if it is canon, that means that Midoriya and Toshinori are withholding the secret from Bakugo that kind of like makes a mockery of him. And that also means that all of this strife, all of this misunderstanding between Midoriya and Bakugo being so competitive and paranoid and having been pitted against people his whole life to where he doesn't trust Midoriya, and he's so insecure that he cannot fathom Midoriya truly loving and admiring him and looking up to him and seeing him as a friend and someone to aspire to be like. Like, this proved concretely, once and for all, that Midoriya truly admires him and trusts him and thinks the world of him. You know? And it would have been such a perfect poetic tragedy for him to finally have to face the fact that Midoriya isn't mocking him, isn't looking down on him, has nothing but admiration and love for him. At the moment where Midoriya sacrifices everything he has to give to Bakugo so they can save people and be true heroes. Like, it's stupid. It's so stupid. And I'm sure as thoughtful and careful as Horikoshi is about these things, as measured and strategic as he is about all of his writing, there has to be a reason that he decided that Bakugo has to not remember this happened. But as someone who is not privy to any of that, it is so incredibly frustrating, you know, to have seen such an unbelievable thing happen, such an incredible thing happen that addresses and resolves and brings progress and a satisfying resolution to so many things just be nullified. But I know Horikoshi said there likely will not be another movie after this because this is it. I already had to take a huge chunk out of what I wanted to do with the ending of the series. I don't have anything else. There's no way to raise the stakes any higher. Like, he's already sacrificed a huge plot point for this. And I don't think he's willing to do it again, no matter how much money they offer him or how much pressure they put on him. I don't think he'll do it again. Because I think he's got too much integrity as an author. But God, I just wish I could speak with him and I could ask him and the team of writers for the movie, or whoever wrote the movie, why did you make him forget that this all happened? Is it just because it's way too soon in the series? That's probably what it is. It's way too soon in the series for him to have to face in a way that he cannot deceive himself or argue his way out of or lie to himself about, that Midoriya truly thinks that highly of him. That has to be what it is. It's too soon. But it feels so shitty because it feels like now Midoriya and All Might are complicit in withholding this life-changing secret from him. Like, you know what I'm saying, man? Like, you get where you smelling what I'm laying down, man? Like, you get what I'm saying, everyone? That's basically it. Those are my complaints about the movie. Yeah, Sartzer said it's not canon, but I can see this is how Horikoshi wants to end MHA. Anime movies are rarely canon, said Izu, but yeah. Dragon Ball Super, I believe, is what that abbreviation is. Movies were canon. I went to sleep, woke up, and this is still here. Yeah. Zeralat said, I dig the psychoanalysis of such a show. Japanese storytelling has a beautiful way of showing you what is on a character's mind. Yes. And Jimbly said, I just dig this analysis for a plethora of reasons, despite not being interested in the subject. Subject. Yeah, real nice that people like me, Michelle, care about these art forms that require so much time and effort to make. And Horikoshi is amazing. I've talked about it multiple times on this channel. It doesn't need to be said a million times more, but he has sacrificed and put so much blood, sweat, and tears into this series. It is absolutely remarkable. I am in complete awe of this man. He is an artist in every sense of the word, truly, and I'm in awe of him. He's incredible. Losing my little voice here. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, gamers. It's not very epic. Zaralath said, I have to put this show on my list. How does it compare to early Bleach? I think it blows Bleach out of the water. I genuinely think this is the best shonen series I've ever seen in my life. And I did like Bleach early on. Yeah, exactly. Sartre said, sucks he couldn't save this until the ending. Seems like the studio forced his hand. Would have been so much better in the context of the show, especially where the manga is right now and how dark it's gotten. I know that would have been miraculous. And it's like, at this point, what can be done at the end? Because I've talked to a couple people, and at least my fiance and I agree it has to be something tragic. Like, my fiance thinks he becomes the number one hero when Bakugo, who is the number one hero, like, dies in his arms or something like that. That's what my fiance thinks. You know, or maybe it's something where, like, Midoriya sacrifices his life and he becomes honored as the number one hero in his death for his incredible sacrifice or something like that. Like, it has to be something heart-wrenching and just catastrophic, and, you know, it has to be something like that. And now, you know, what, like, if it was just Midoriya almost dying and having to pass the mantle on to Bakugo, I know people have theorized that that would happen before, you know, because that would be in line with the storytelling, and now he can't rehash that, so now it has to be something else. Carl said, studio didn't force him. The producers asked Horikoshi multiple times, are you absolutely sure this is okay? And the author said yes, and I'll just come up with a better ending. Well, that was something I was thinking of too. Like, I know it sounds really silly and like I put way too much thought and stock into this show, but it's like, if that was Horikoshi's ending that he was thinking of early on, that is beautiful and poetic and fantastic. And it's like, I have faith he can think of something even better. If there's anybody on this planet who can think of an ending that's even more beautiful and poetic than that, it is Horikoshi. I believe that with every fiber of my being. And, you know, sometimes, like, I believe that stories that have such a cultural impact, like stuff like this, stuff like Breaking Bad, Shakespearean things, I believe there is almost this, like, this intangible force and power behind them. I think that stories and fiction are incredibly powerful, far more powerful than a lot of public figures are, a lot of real life heroism is. And, you know, I think this was probably meant to be, you know, like, it would have been absolutely extraordinary had that been the ending of the show. But, you know, maybe them approaching him and really wanting him to do another movie is the push necessary for Horikoshi to not just make this an incredible, tragic, beautiful, poignant story, but something even more groundbreakingly spectacular than that. Because if anybody could come up with an ending even more fantastic than that, this is the man. This man is an unbelievably masterful writer and artist. So, you know, I thought about that earlier too. That was like the cope phase. I was frustrated that this was robbed from us as part of the ending, but if anybody can make something even better, it's this man, truly. Yeah. Hi. Hi, Dio, or Dio. Is it you, Dio? I always call you Diogenes. I hope that's okay. Or Diogenes. Only $9 a season on PlayStation Store. You could order it. I truly believe it's a remarkable show. It is. It's one of the best shonen things I've ever seen. And I know, like, nobody, literally nobody likes this show except for kids who've never watched any other anime in their life. All of my friends who are in their 20s and 30s, who are real estate agents and salesmen and factory workers and personal trainers, um, and like people who run whole ass departments at colleges. All of us who think that MHA is one of the best shonen series of all time are not real. Because nobody can like popular anime unless they've literally never seen another shonen in their life. Because popular anime by default is overrated and poorly written, even if it's objectively clearly not. So, I'm not real. My opinion is not real. All of the people who actually like this show because it's actually really good are not real. So, I'm not real, Zeralath, and I'm sorry to have to break it to you in this fashion. I'm so sorry. Oh, you want? Yeah, yeah, definitely. I'll be up for like 30 minutes after this, wandering around my house trying to wind down from the nervous energy. I'll at least be in bed playing on my phone for a while, so we can talk for sure. Zeralath is so right. I think Michelle keeps playing with her shirt because her boobs are trying to escape to her bedroom. It's true. Like, a little tiny bit of cleavage is tasteful, but the amount of cleavage that's trying to make itself known to the world here is something that has been quite challenging to wrangle. I don't mean to be mean or petty, and I shouldn't say anything, but there was a guy earlier who was he was very enthralled with my cleavage, and he kept, like, some of his remarks were okay, but then he started getting really, really creepy, and it was not appreciated, and he actually got put in timeout. So people have been alarmed and distracted by the cleaving of the vig. That's probably the most idiotic thing I've ever said in my life, and it's been almost 3 decades. he was he was he was pretty titillated, to use a fitting word, I think. But he does that in other streams too. Yeah, I don't. I mean, it's. I don't mind people being really crass and inappropriate. I don't mind. But there comes a point where if you're just being really nasty and combative and insulting about it, I don't appreciate it. And Jimbly is one of the few people I've given the hefty responsibility to. Um, like, I've given him the scary wrench, and he noticed the guy was making me uncomfortable, which is hard to do. So he put him in timeout, and then he came back and he was really nasty. So then I put him in timeout too, and he's bye timeout now. He disliked the stream. He was very upset. But like you guys know, I don't mind flirting. I don't mind crass, ridiculous, irreverent humor. It takes a lot to really bother me. And like I said earlier, something can bother me, and that's one thing, that's fine. But when things start irritating and distracting my chat to the point where they're not having a good time anymore consistently, then that's not acceptable. Like, my supporters, you guys, you people who are so kind, and thoughtful and cool and funny, and take time out of your day to be here to humor my inane ramblings. When somebody bothers you guys, that's where the line needs to be drawn, especially. And I know he was getting on people's nerves, aside from mine too. I mean, I wish him the best. I don't want him to have some vendetta. I don't hate him, but it's like, after a while, when you're just being really creepy and degrading and it's totally irrelevant to everything I'm saying and you're not trying to be funny, you gotta go and time out. My dude, I'm sorry. Yeah. So is MHA better than One Punch Man? That is subjective. OPM is one of the best things, obviously, I've ever seen. It's phenomenal, at least season 1. I don't know. I personally think I like it more, but I would say it's close. I would say it's as close as you can get when they're so different in storytelling style and how, like, brief and in your face and bombastic every piece of OPM is, sort of. Exactly. Never forget that Star versus stream. Sartre, that's fine. I seriously don't mind that. I don't. It takes a lot to get on my nerves, truly. I had to do that, but I didn't want to deafen you guys, and I think I did anyway. Wouldn't it have been worse had I not done this and faced away? I'm so sorry. I probably deafened you guys. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm dreading seeing the chat when I see it in my little, like, replay on my dashboard thing. But that pretty much sums up my thoughts on the movie. I'm gonna bring Dabs back because I like him. That's a great little thing poster. I'm very pleased with myself. Only took me 10 minutes in MS Paint. Well, exactly. There's crass and then there's obnoxious. Yeah, that's very true. And it's like, I mean, there are things that maybe I would enjoy my fiance saying to me in certain, like, saucy circumstances. The person I've, like, pledged myself to for the rest of my life, that I might not enjoy a total stranger, like, muttering to me, you know, across the internet. Like, they're different. There are different scenarios in which things are appropriate, and that was not one where the things were appropriate. So I don't know. I mean, in conclusion, I did like the movie, although that ending really, really bothered me, that ending detail. The villains were fine. The action was fantastic. I loved how much screen time. And it's not just screen time. I really loved how much the other classmates were included. And they were given pivotal important roles. Like Tokoyami was God, Tokoyami was fantastic in this. He was fantastic in this, and I would like to follow him and see, like, the impact that what happened in this movie had on him, because that was fascinating. Ida, you guys know I'm, like, completely head over heels in love with Ida, and in this he actually got some respect. He was the voice of reason. Like, we actually got to see Todoroki being really brash, and being controlled by his anger, and Ida being the voice of reason to calm him down and say, we need to regroup, we need to be thoughtful, and we need to plan this. Don't do this rash thing you're thinking about doing. And that makes me happy too, because everybody, like, deifies Todoroki and they treat him like he's perfect. And he's very talented and he's bright, but, like, Ida has turned into this joke character, which is totally undeserving. And it was very gratifying to see Ida actually being depicted as the very intelligent, logical, super helpful friend that he is. And what else? I don't know. I think I mentioned everything else. Yaoyorozu had, you know, probably the most action she's had since the last movie. Aoyama did well. Mineta was funny. It was really cute to see Koda doing well. Shoji got made fun of, which was not appreciated, but whatever. But at the end, it was really frustrating, like, how much they teased the League of Villains crap and then they hardly showed any of them. Like, at the end of the movie, Shigaraki popped up throughout the movie, which is good, but it almost felt like somebody who didn't know much about the series just knew he was the big bad of the time, and they kept, like, little smatterings of Shiggy throughout it. And at the end I was like, really? they really aren't gonna like cap it off with another little scene from the League of Villains at all. Like, it made the cameos, like the like stupid crappy like 30 seconds of fan servicey screen time every League member got, feel really sleazy and condescending. Like Dobby, everybody wants to bang this dude. Why? He's a crusty, disgusting moron. I have no clue why anybody would want to. Frankly, I don't know. I love him, but I admit I have severe psychological baggage to work through. Like, Toga had like 3 lines. 2 or 3 lines the whole movie. Twice had almost nothing. What the hell? Why is Twice so underrated? What is wrong with these people? I really hope after the Meta Liberation Army arc he gets some credit. He will, but being one of the few people who's on it before it's cool and popular is really aggravating in this case, because Twice deserves so much more love than he gets. There's a really cute part at the end for those of you who don't care about spoilers. It's really cute. It made me laugh really hard. The heroes get there, but it's after the kids already defeated the villains. They, if they hadn't gotten there in time and the kids hadn't done what they did, they would have been dead. So like Toshinori finds Bakugo and Midoriya and they're both alive and he's so relieved. But it's cool because he gets there in the aftermath, the responsibility is given to the new generation whose shoulders this great weight now falls onto. And the thing that was so cute that I adored was that like Endeavor's there at the end, and like there's a scene of Endeavor, he's like freaking out, like hugging Todoroki, and Todoroki just looks disgusted and irritated, like a cat that's being snuggled. But like his dad is like losing it. Like he looks like he's bawling his eyes out, like holding Shoto off of the ground because he's so relieved his son is okay. Like, that's adorable. That is so sweet and so charming, and it's comical, It's a side of Enji that we don't really see a lot, and it's just sweet, because he would be like that, realizing that his son almost died and he didn't even know about it till it was too late and his son could have died. Like, that was so sweet, and that's relevant. That's relevant to Enji and Shoto's relationship. And that was just this minor little aside at the end, which kind of sucked, but anyway, I don't know. That's basically all. If I can like summarize everything, but I've said everything already, basically, There were some aspects I really, really liked. There were some aspects I didn't. And I did like it better than the first movie. I liked the pacing better. I didn't have time to be like, when is this thing going to happen? When is that thing going to happen? I was captivated. My attention was very much held the whole way through. I adore Midoriya and Bakugo's relationship. I think it's fascinating and incredibly compelling. Obviously, I think that or I wouldn't be watching the show. But I mean, it's incredibly gratifying as someone who is really invested in their relationship as it grows into an incredible friendship and partnership as heroes and rivals. Seeing that was super gratifying. And seeing Shigaraki in his very dapper, like, red pea coat was very nice, and his little red sneakers. I really like him, and I didn't used to. But, it was nice. If the guy behind us hadn't, like, reeked of old, bitter cigarette smoke, it would have been better. Like, I was drinking the Sprite. I wasn't thirsty, but I kept, like, chugging our Sprite because I needed something like assaulting my senses more immediately than that bitter smell of like somebody smokes in the same room where their clothing is folded up. multiple times a day. That was so gross. Weebs Febreze yourself before coming in the theater challenge. You know, maybe, you know what? No, damn it. I'm not going to do the self-deprecation thing. For once, I know I didn't smell bad. I smelled okay. I didn't impose upon anyone with my smell tonight. And I can say that proudly. But those are my thoughts, pretty much. I gotta go to bed, dude. It's 2:51 a.m. here. And I have to work tomorrow, at least a little bit. I gotta go into, you know, our office and do some stuff. And I have side quest tomorrow night. I'm gonna be so tired. Help me. I'm sure your second viewing will be better, lol. I don't really have many friends who are into this IRL. But I would absolutely go again and see it with some friends. That would be a blast. But anyway, I'm going to make this ending really brief, you guys. I'm practicing saying bye-bye faster. But yeah, Mr. Brushface, I am still up. I'm crazy. Zeralath said, it seems like MHA is structured like Kill la Kill. I am sold on season 1. You gotta watch Kill la Kill. It's too good. I haven't watched it in a while, Zeralath, and I don't think I ever finished it, actually. So I've gotten a ton of recommendations from people recently, and I'm super pumped to watch some of them. I need to rewatch that, like, right away. That's my priority at the moment. If I can Uber drive for 5 hours straight, Michelle can pull off a marathon. Yeah. Poor Twice. I know. He's my angel baby. I had a dream Twice was my boyfriend. No regrets. You guys have seen that hideous, like, tattoo that says no RAGRETS, right? No regrets. Is it safe to be here? Is there still spoilers? No, Nemo, I'm leaving, so the spoilers are over. Also, please cover up. Dobby is inappropriate. Oh, who's showing more cleavage at the moment? Me or the crusty, smelly moron man? Huh? I'm like, whoops. I'm like staring down Dobby's cleavage as I'm talking. I am a monster, dude. I'm not a well-adjusted adult by any stretch of the imagination. Oh shoot, caps lock was on. Uh-huh. Yeah. Oh shoot. Oh fiddlesticks. I didn't mean to lecture Michelle for being a child when there are no adults here capable of wrangling her. Endeavor being wholesome. It was so cute. I loved it. I think Endeavor's a fascinating character. I really like him. I actually, somebody sent me the wrong keychain when I ordered some keychains, so I had this like sparkly Endeavor keychain, and I gave him to my mom. My mom is like 63, and she has an Endeavor keychain on her keys, and I keep hoping some like kid at like a grocery store or something is gonna be like, ma'am, what, ma'am, what is that? Is that a gift from someone? Is that from something? He looks like someone from a thing. Like, I really hope that happens, but she thinks he's hilarious. And I've explained the series to her, and she's like, that's really cool. And she actually wanted to watch some of it, and we watched some of it, and it was cute. She was so happy. She kept asking to watch more and more and more episodes, and she stayed and visited longer than she meant to. Yeah, I want to see it, but finding showtimes around here is hard. It was really hard. We had to drive really far to find it dubbed, or find it anywhere, actually. Nova Scotia, Canada. Oh, I don't know. Good night, Chat-Mort. Thank you so much. May your dreams be plus ultra. That's super sweet, Vincent. The same to you. Dobby has no cleavage, though. Oh, no, he's got some titty. I think he does. I'm looking at my figurine. How many spoilers are in the movie? How many spoilers are in the movie? You are like the most recent season behind. Oh my god. How many spoilers are in the movie? Really not a lot. There's a character you haven't seen yet. but nothing about his actual story in the manga or the anime is revealed. You know what? There really aren't any spoilers in it that I know of, Nemo. And if I'm wrong, I will drive to your location and you can give me a slap. Because I'm pretty sure it's pretty much an isolated thing. They did a pretty good job at not spoiling anything. They really did. I think you're safe to watch it even if you're like a season behind. There's like one character where you're gonna be like, oh, I've seen him, but I don't know anything about him yet. But it really doesn't reveal anything about him in the story, you know, actual non-movie canon. So I like my little thing. He looks cool. He looks like a little like a name of somebody when they're being interviewed on a show. Like, my name is Spoilers for Heroes Rising. And the context, like, what I do for a living while I'm being interviewed is my smelly gremlin boyfriend and a little arrow. Yeah, I want to try and catch up before the film leaves. How long is the film in theaters? I truly don't know. I know it's going to be like at least a week around here. But I don't know. It might be like 2 weeks, but I would say a week at most, and if it's any longer than that, that would be lucky, you know. But I think you live in a place with bigger cities than me. I'm not sure. Wait, when was the last season? The season 4 is, I think, still airing now. With Overhaul and the Hasaikai. I don't know how much of that you've seen. The last episode you saw was a Deku versus Bakugo fight. Really? Okay, yeah, you're a little bit behind. You're like midway to most of the way through season 3. Yeah, you've got most of a season to watch. But I blasted through it. I rewatched all of season 4 in one day. You can do it. But you're quite a few episodes behind. I would say you'd have to marathon 2 or 3 evenings to catch up. But you could do it. You could do it easily. The first episode of season 4 is total filler. It's just garbage. And so you can skip episode 1 of this season, but you could catch up, dude. You could. Yi, he's in season 3. I keep saying Yi because I'm a moron. I need wrangled Jimbly, help me. Time to epically wrap up this epic show. :3. Semicolon 3. Who am I? What's wrong with me? Yeah, semicolon 3. Oh my god, I'm so sleepy. I'm going to work for like 3 hours tomorrow. Yeah, if only I can't do that. Okay, here, I'll hide this. Sorry about the cleaves. I'm putting them away. Hi, Mad Matt. I'm going to bed now. I feel so bad. Someone always shows up right when I'm going to bed. I'm so sorry. But, yeah, I am going to wrap things up. Whatever. Thank you guys so much for watching and letting me know your input. You're 20 episodes behind. You can do it. You can do it, but you just gotta, like, for a couple nights, buckle down and marathon a couple episodes a night. You can do it. You finished season 3, okay. Yeah, then, yeah. If you're, like, 20 episodes behind, you're probably right at season 4's beginning. You can do it, homie. You can. But I'm sleepy. I'm holding his hand again. Okay. Yeah, just thank you for your input and letting me know what you think. And that person who said that Horikoshi was sure he wanted to do this and he'll just think of a better ending, I need to confirm that. I need to look it up, but thank you for that. I appreciate that immensely. That's very interesting to hear, and it makes me feel better because it confirms one of my hopes. Where is the movie in relation to the show? They're very vague about it. It's toward the end of season 4 that it takes place, but they're pretty vague about it in a pretty masterful way, so nobody feels like they're like 1 or 2 episodes behind or ahead accidentally before they see the movie. It's pretty vague, but it's toward the end of season 4, I would say. You guys can raise some funds, but I don't know how to get them. Okay. So, yeah. thank you guys so much for watching and humoring me and listening to everything I had to say. I'm extremely sleepy. I know you guys are all probably my regulars, but 3 hours 3. I know, 3 hours and 33 minutes and 33 seconds right now. Yes, 333333. That was very cool. The like cursed meme number or whatever when the ghosties come. I don't know. If any of you are not regulars, please feel free to like and subscribe if you feel so compelled and share my stuff. And one of you is here for sure. To those of you who are my Patreon and Subscribe Star supporters, thank you so much. You guys mean the world to me, and your support is life-changing. You really don't know how helpful that is and how grateful I am to you. So the one of you who's here, thank you. You're the best. I don't want to make you uncomfortable by picking on you. This is your second stream today. It is. I wanted to talk about the movie. And half of the stream is not talking about the movie. It's just rambling and junk. Hi, Adrian. I'm leaving. I'm going bye-bye. So, yeah, whatever. I think I've already given you guys the sign-off for the day. Yes, subscribe on Subscribe Star. That would be neat. No, not for loot art. I don't do that. I don't put it online, at least. Chat-Mort for E3. No, that's silly. But yeah, I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. And, you know, if it wasn't, please resolve to make tomorrow better, because you might not believe it, but I promise you, you are absolutely worth the effort. You know, you guys are some of the greatest, sweetest, funniest people in the world. Jarl sent me a DM. Thank you. I will check that tonight. Thank you so much for the reminder. But what else? I don't know. I love you guys. You're the best. Thank you for being so kind and humoring me and shit. Everybody go to sleep and have a good night. Yes, I will check Twitter. Thank you for reminding me, though, Jimbly, because I'm really tired. Oh my god. And how is the movie compared to the previous one? I think it was better, the VGC, but that's just my opinion. It had some flaws, too, for sure, but I think it was better. Hi, Spiritfire. You just missed me and then subbed when you watched my video on the whole hero anime thing. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that, dude. How often do you actually stream? It's usually like once a week. Sometimes it's like two times a week. I meant every other week, but it's kind of all over the place. I don't have a scheduled time when I upload scripted videos, and I don't have scheduled days or how often I stream. So if you want to like ring the little bell for notifications, you can, to let you know when I'm going to stream, because it's pretty random. I try to keep them more structured and shorter than this stream, but they usually tend to be pretty rambly and crazy and end up like this one where I'm on for almost 4 hours. So but yeah, all right, I do have to go. So thank you guys again so much for all your support. I love you. Yes, Homo, I love you guys dearly, and I hope you're having a good night. And I'm really sleepy. I don't know what's going on. I'm gonna take my baby. I'm gonna hold his hand in my little finger, his little hand in my big finger. It's the perfect size to hold with one finger. And I'm gonna go to sleep now. So, yeah. You take it easy, guys. I love you very much, and I will see you again soon. I'm so sleepy.